Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Well, I appreciate that you're committed to this fucking Android thing. I have a lot of friends that they send me the green text, and every now and then one will show up blue. They give up and they jump on the iPhone train. I'm like, interesting.
I can't do it, man.
No, why? What is it about it?
Because it's one of those things where I'm so into my tech and shit.
Yeah.
And if I go iPhone, then I gotta go Apple everything.
Why?
Know? Because that's the whole advantage of going Apple is that it all just works together so well because they're on their own little ecosystem, you know.
What's the advantage of not going Apple?
Customization.
Oh, okay. But you're not. Are you using the phone with other stuff? Does it integrate with other stuff the way an iPhone does?
Because I have a Samsung phone, Samsung tablet, Samsung watch. You know, and if I go iPhone, then I got to get an Apple Watch. I got to get an iPad. You know,
what's better? Have you fucked with Apple stuff?
Oh yeah. I've had iPhones.
Yeah.
But I just
so you went Android after you went iPhone.
I went Android, iPhone, Android, iPhone, Android.
Oh, so you back and forth, huh?
Yeah, I went back and forth, but at the end of the day, it was just like I stuck with Android because Android is more, you know, on top of like some of the latest. Like Apple won't do anything unless they can do it in a way where it goes, oh, that's Apple. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like the fucking headphones,
right?
Like that they would not come out with headphones until they could do something where you like when you see it, you know that it's not something else. Right.
You know it's an Apple device.
Right. Same thing with the Apple Watch. That's why it's shaped weird. It's because they want you to look at it and go, that's an Apple Watch.
That is true because the Samsung one, some dude had one the other day on. It looked like a regular watch. I go, that's a dope watch. What is it? And he's like, it's a Galaxy Watch. And I thought it was a regular watch. And he goes, no, you can change the screen. And he's like fucking with it. But it was round.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Ooh.
But it just looks like a watch. Apple don't want that, you know?
Yeah.
I do love the way all the Apple shit works together, but it's like, they call it a walled garden.
Yes.
Everything's beautiful in the garden, but you try to do some shit outside. And Apple does all these they do all these little shitty tactics to facilitate that, right? So the whole green bubble, blue bubble thing, that originally came out, like you remember back when you had to pay for texts?
No.
Yeah, they used to charge for text messages.
How much did they charge?
I don't know. It was like, 5 cents a message, or they would give you a bundle, or some would come with your plan. And Apple created iMessage, and green was supposed to represent a text that you paid for, and blue was supposed to be one that was free because it was in the Apple network. And then right after they invented it, that kind of went away. There was all text messages are free, but they noticed that there was this little snobbery there, and so they could fix it. They could easily integrate iMessages so that it doesn't come up different, but they won't because it increases that fear of missing out that makes people want to go, I'm just gonna get an iPhone. I'm tired of being left out of the group chats. Yeah, perfect example. If you send me a video, it'll come up blurry. Yeah. Right? And that's an Apple thing.
It is?
Yes.
But if you send a Samsung guy video, will it come out perfect?
Oh yeah. If I send you a video, it'll come up perfect. But if you send me one, it'll come up blurry.
Really?
Yeah, because they want me to feel left out. And here's another example. You know how when you text somebody, they can react to it, so it'll be like a smiley face or whatever.
Right.
So up until recently, if I sent you a text and you hearted it,
right,
it would say to me, Joe hearted, and then it would give me my whole text in quotes.
Oh.
And
what does it do now?
Well, now Android's has done like a little workaround. So if you get a text like that, it'll just put a heart underneath it.
Okay, so I'm gonna send you one right now.
Yes.
And you'll get a little heart. All right, here we go.
Oh, my shit's off.
Oh, okay, forget it.
Yeah. But Apple does that on purpose because they want you to put the pressure on your friends to buy an iPhone.
It's kind of smart.
It is. It's genius. I'm not mad at them for it. They have no incentive to work together with everybody else.
But isn't it also that it's encrypted? Like iMessages are encrypted, whereas like text messages are not.
Yes, that's true. But that's something that they won't allow the encryption to be shared. You know, because here's the thing. That's only a thing in the U.S. everywhere else in the world, people use WhatsApp and
Right.
all this other stuff. Only
WhatsApp's giant overseas.
it's
right?
huge. It's huge. And iPhone is not this is only not just only here, but there's only 1 or 2 countries where it's the number one phone.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder why WhatsApp and all those other things. I think it's because you could use them over Wi-Fi, and so you could chat
Right.
without using your minutes.
Right. You can,
Right.
You can use them over Wi-Fi. It's encrypted. It's all the things that come with iMessage. It's its own platform.
Do you remember when roaming would cost you a fucking shitload of money?
Yeah.
Like if you used your phone in Connecticut, you'd be doomed.
I remember when you had minutes.
Yes.
You had talk minutes.
Yes.
And it's like a lot of these kids don't get it, man. It's
That's
like
pretty recent.
Yeah, it's not that long. I mean, maybe no more than 15 years ago.
Was it that long ago? Minutes?
Yeah, well, night and weekend minutes, 7 p.m. Oh, yours are at 9,
yeah.
ours are at 7.
Well, I remember when because I used to have Singular, which is, I think they're part of T-Mobile now, but Singular used to be like, if I called another Singular customer, it didn't use my minutes. Or if you called somebody during certain hours, it didn't use your minutes. It was like peak hours and off hours.
Yeah, I remember that. Singular, I remember too.
Yeah, and what's funny is it's the same fucking network. First they told us, oh, well, we have to charge for minutes, otherwise we would swamp the network. And now minutes are free, and then they started charging for texts. Like it'll flood the network. We got to charge for text, and now text is free, and they charging for data. And data they actually need. I don't know if they need to charge what they charge.
Whenever shit goes down and everybody tries to use their phone, you can't use your phone.
Ever.
That's what's weird. Like, try using your phone at a sporting event. Like, if you're at a Super Bowl or something like that.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Everybody's using their phone.
Or try calling somebody somewhere where just something happened, an earthquake or something.
Right.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
It won't work.
No.
Isn't that wild? Like, if they have 1 million customers, like say of a cell phone, just as an example, just for a number, they don't have to have 1 million lines available at all times.
No. They should treat them like casinos. Like, you have to have X amount of dollars for every person that's in the casino.
Right.
In case they win.
Yeah, because could they accommodate everybody? Like, there has to be 250 million phones in this country, minimum.
Yeah, probably more, yeah.
Probably as many as there are people, right?
Yeah.
But if everybody wanted to call at the same time, like, what's the number that it can hold?
Fuck. I don't know.
Is it local?
'Cause that's
Is it
the
like
thing.
local breakers or local? I mean, how does that work? Do you know how it works? Jamie?
It's wild because there's different technologies on different networks.
Right. It's 4G and it's 5G.
No. I mean, like CDMA versus, I forget what the other one is, but like Verizon.
GSM, right?
Yeah, GSM, right. And so and I want to say, I think we're the only Western country where it's split that way. Like, like if you go to Korea, it's all one technology.
I think they all use GSM.
Yeah.
I think correct me if I'm wrong about this too. I think CDMA works better deep inside of buildings.
I'm not sure.
I think that was the positive aspect, and that's only in this country Verizon and Sprint, right?
But Sprint just got bought, just merged with T-Mobile.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's getting small in there. And at the end of the day, Disney's gonna own everything.
Disney's gonna own everything.
They're gonna own every fucking thing, man.
Damn.
Did you hear about I saw something, DirecTV might be losing the Sunday ticket for the NFL, which has been like the biggest thing holding it together for like 30 years maybe, since 1990 or something they've had a deal.
Good,
Yeah.
fuck
They pay
'em.
like $1.5 billion a year.
Why are they gonna lose it?
The rights end after this season or next season, and the NFL's asking for $3 billion a year.
Yep, and you know who got it? Disney.
There's only like 3 companies that can afford it.
Disney, Netflix. I hope YouTube. I hope Google buys it and puts it on YouTube. Because I miss... Because DirecTV is fucking trash. And the only reason anybody has it is because of the Sunday ticket.
Really?
Nobody owns, or people that like live in rural areas and they can only get satellite, but the vast majority of their customers, they're being forced to deal with DirecTV so they can have Sunday ticket. Because the NFL started doing this like anti-fan bullshit a long time ago when they made they put out an exclusive bid for their video game. So remember, it wasn't too long ago where there was Madden, there was Game Day, there was 2K, there was anybody could license and make a NFL game, and then one year NFL was like, only one person gets it. This is how much it costs, and EA bought it and just started making a shitty game it wasn't shitty every year, but they don't have any competition. And then they did the same thing with the Sunday Ticket. They were like, we'll give exclusivity if you'll give us $1 billion every year. You know, so DirecTV pays the $1 billion every year and then charges their customers like $600.
There's certain things that like anchor a network, right? Like Howard Stern anchors Sirius.
Yeah.
Like if Howard Stern left Sirius, they'd be fucked.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because how many people even have that now?
You know what? It's more people than you think. It's more people than I would think. Sirius is sneaky famous like Garth Brooks. You know?
That's perfect.
Because you know what they do? They bundle it. They bundle it with car purchases.
Right.
And so then you get used to hearing something and you go, well, fuck it. You know, what is it? $10 a month? I'll pay
Right.
it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, if they can get you addicted, that's a good move. That's a great sneaky deal to have it integrated with cars.
Yeah. And
It's very smart.
And I still get a check. I get checks from Sirius too sometimes.
Oh yeah, for like royalties.
Yeah, like
bits.
Bits. Yeah. So they paying it out. So.
Well, they were the first people to do podcasts. Really,
Yeah.
like the real first podcasts were Opie and Anthony and Howard Stern, because they were, you know, obviously it came off of the radio, but they were the first people to do Radio Uncensored.
Oh yeah.
Radio Uncensored on Sirius existed before there was the internet podcasts.
Yeah, because remember back when it was who was their rival? It was Sirius and something else.
XM.
XM.
And then they merged.
Yeah. And it was good. It's still good. And they can tell who's listening and how many listens you're getting.
Yeah, they know how many receivers are out there and how many I wonder if they know how many receivers are receiving at any given time.
Yeah. The regular radio, I don't even know how that's still a thing.
Some people like it, man. You'd be amazed. You know who likes it? The kind of people who can food.
Who like do it themselves?
Yeah, the kind of people who like fucking, they've got like freeze-dried food buried in their garage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they got a bunker for the end of the world.
Yeah, those are the type of people that have ham radios and they're listening in. Over.
My boy Scotty's father's a ham radio guy.
Well, that used to be the shit. You could talk to someone if the weather was right. You could talk to someone in Alaska.
Oh yeah,
talk to someone on the other side of the world.
Well, what's scary is because he's one of these people like how do I explain it? He was really, really smart in the 70s. Like he had the world mastered. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And now he's sort of like not with the new technology, but that motherfucker can use a ham radio. He makes his own rifles. You know, so it's like if things went to shit, he would be the only person that I knew that I could be like, how do...
He would be the guy in the movie.
Yeah.
Like you'd be on a hill and you'd hear a distant shh. So
Yeah.
here we are here. If you're hearing this, there is a state of emergency. Seek high ground. Do not make noises at night.
Or like a bear, or like right when a bear is about to eat your ass, it just gets blown away, and you're like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck?" And it's like some old man on the hill. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, that's how it is in those movies. He would be that guy. He'd be that guy with his own generator. Those are the people that are going to live. I had this
Yeah.
conversation last night with Eric Anders. Eric Anders was the guest on the podcast yesterday. He's a fighter in the UFC's middleweight division. Really fucking cool guy. Used to be a football player. And we were talking about, last night we were all talking about like super volcanoes. We started freaking out. Like he was talking about how he took his kid to Yellowstone and he's standing there. He's like, we should probably get the fuck out of here. Like this is a volcano.
because it's like it's like that whole part of the United States. It's not just that park. It's like spans states.
It's so big.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it spans states, but I think the caldera. I think it's 300 kilometers wide. If that's correct, it might be 600 kilometers wide. It's either 300 miles or 300 or something like that. But it's at least 300 kilometers wide.
If it goes off, we're fucked.
If it goes off, we're fucked, and it probably means the whole human race is fucked. It's not as simple as like we're fucked. Like we're gonna get down to like a few nomadic tribes in like the Amazon. Like this is gonna kill almost everybody. This thing's so big.
Yeah, that's insane, man. Yeah, see, it crosses Montana and Idaho and Wyoming.
So that's the whole seismic region, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
where is the what's the width of the caldera? Because that was the thing that I was confused about. Because I thought they said it was like 300, unless 300 kilometers like goes through some of those states, but that doesn't make any sense. I guess it does if it's on the edges, right? But what they're saying is that it's 30 by 45 miles wide.
Holy shit, man.
That's not as big as I thought. I thought it was like 300 kilometers.
The third and most recent massive.
Maybe that's like whatever the volcanic activity is under the surface. But whatever it is, it's a super volcano that every 600,000 to 800,000 years blows. And when it blows, it kills everything.
Right. And we're overdue.
Yeah, we're in that range. We're 600,000 years ago plus in that range.
Isn't it wild that, because I fight, because you hear me say cynical shit all the time.
If it's funny, you'll say it.
Yeah, but I...
You don't say cynical shit because you're a cynical dude, though. You say cynical shit because it's a funny thing to say.
You know what it is? It's a constant fight. It's like because my reflex is cynicism.
Yes.
And I'm trying not to be, but it's like, it's hard because you would think after the pandemic, like after something that affected everybody,
right, that
we would realize that like all our little petty shit don't really matter. Like,
well, some of us do. You do. I do.
Right.
A lot of people do.
But it's like I honestly believe if some global, like say there was an asteroid headed towards Earth, like a species ender,
right,
Congress would still be debating about some shit. You know what I mean? When it was like, I want Neil deGrasse Tyson would be sitting over here going, guys, we need to fucking do something now. Him and Elon would be like, I've designed the rocket, and they just need funding, and Congress would be still playing like the political game.
Yeah.
Every disaster movie starts with them ignoring a scientist, right?
It's true.
And it's like that's because they care more about. It's like they don't care that the house is on fire. They want to know who's in charge of the ashes when it's over, Well,
you also got to wonder, like, why are they doing what they're doing? Like, is someone in Congress, are they there because they want power? Are they there because they want money? Or are they there because they want to help people? I think there's three different kinds of people, and there's a lot of variations on the theme.
I think everyone that starts out trying to help people gets corrupted a little bit.
I think a little bit, right? I think they get a little cynical, and I think they learn how to play the game.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like I guess I would consider myself a liberal, but I hate liberal politicians because they're pussies.
Oh,
you know what kills me is like, so take this abortion thing that just happened. It's like, you know why we lost? Because we're pussies. Because we don't have a Trump. Because cancel culture only works on our side. Republicans ain't canceling no motherfucker. They don't give a fuck what, like.
They don't cancel each other, that's for sure.
Yeah, remember, so this whole everything that Biden was trying to do politically is being held up by one senator, right? Joe Manchin or whatever. And you know when we lost one senator, we canceled Al Franken, the comedian.
Yeah.
We canceled him because his hand was hovering over a titty.
Yeah.
And then they had Trump go and grab her by the pussy. That motherfucker's president. You know what I'm saying? Because all Republicans care about is, are you going to vote the right way?
Right.
They want to win.
Right.
We want to feel good. We want to feel good about who's representing us instead of winning. I want an evil motherfucker up in there now. I want somebody that's like. Because you come to Congress with good intentions and they go, okay, but listen, if you want to do all that and change the world, you got to fucking drown this puppy. And some people are like, I can't do that. And they're like, well, then you're never going to be more than a representative. You want to be a senator, you got to get some blood on your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, eyes wide shut. We need somebody that's ruthless, man. We need a ruthless.
But that's not a Democrat. The thing is, like,
no, they're
too many people on that side would never vote for that.
A lot of liberals become conservatives because they're tired of losing.
I think a lot of liberals become conservatives because they realize the worst end of liberalism. They see the hard, far left end of it, the Antifa people and the people that they think that somehow or another blocking the highway is going to bring back Roe v. Wade. Like these are those kind of people they don't want to be associated with. Like there's like people that think that like yelling and screaming about things, it's not just about the thing, it's also about you want to yell and scream. Like when you're doing that and you're screaming at people on the highway, like you're not arguing with them. These people they probably agree with you. Like a lot of these people you're blocking in traffic and beating their cars if they don't listen to you. You don't have any authority, and you've decided that because you're outraged, you're going to stand in the middle of the street about whatever, climate change. Have you seen those people? They lock hands and they block roads for climate change. That's not fucking fixing climate change. All you're doing is you getting attention and getting people angry at you for this decision that you have to stop people throughout their day. Maybe they're driving to work to go solve climate change, you fucking idiot.
And these idling self-driving cars are probably putting a lot of CO2 in the air.
It's all not good. It's all not good, but it's just the point is it's not an effective way. It's not an effective way.
You know what also kills me too is like I think a lot of people don't realize from the abortion thing is like they didn't ban abortion. They banned safe abortions. Abortions are gonna happen. Oof. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like my grandma's back in the day, it was like, you would get sent to, if you got pregnant, you would get sent to, to go visit family, and you would come back with a sister or come back with a niece, you know what I mean? And or you have to go into some back alley and get scraped. Oof. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what's coming back. Because people going. You can't. I just talked about this on my podcast. So the World Cup is in Qatar.
Yeah.
And there's no fucking.
What?
They banned fucking. So yeah.
Come on.
No, I'm not kidding.
Come on.
If you're not, unless your spouse is another Olympic athlete, you're not allowed to fuck in Qatar for a World Cup.
Oh, so they can't hook up.
No fucking. No fucking anybody that's not your spouse.
What?
Yeah, and it's not like a passive thing. They really reiterated like, yeah, look.
Is that how you say it? Qatar? Is that how you say it?
Some people say Qatar. Some people say Qatar.
I don't know how to say it. I only read it. Enacts sex, or if I said it, I forgot. Sex bans for unmarried fans ahead of World Cup. Qatari officials have that sounds like a fucking Star Wars thing.
It sounds made up.
Qatari officials.
And I only bring it up because I'm like, you can't fight human nature. You can't stop people from fucking.
Wow. Foreigners attending the tournament will have to comply with the Qatari laws, such as the criminalization of public intoxication. A person could also face the death penalty if caught smuggling cocaine into the country. Holy shit.
Wow.
Holy shit. According to British news outlet Daily Star, FIFA officials warned that no exceptions will be made, emphasizing that one-night stands could lead to 7 years imprisonment. Holy shit.
Damn, that's some good pussy.
You can't. What if you're publicly drunk and you have sex?
Which is
right?
usually how they go to one hand in hand.
Yeah, they're usually a 1-2 combination.
And a little cocaine on you.
God damn.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
Death penalty for coke.
Yeah, if you think Brittany Griner ain't coming home.
And she only had, we were just talking about this on the last podcast, she only had a vape pen of CBD.
CBD?
Yes, it's a cannabis product. I'm pretty sure.
There's even speculation she didn't have it and it was planted, but
that could be possible too. But I mean, a lot of athletes are using CBD for joint aches, and if you're a professional basketball player,
and what was she doing in Russia to begin with?
I guess Jamie said she was playing a game.
There's a lot of WNBA. There's a big professional women's basketball thing going on over there. I remember seeing a video a long time. There's a lot of billionaires that just pay to have the best team, even though people aren't going to the games. They just have money, so they pay for the best players. My team beat your team.
And they gamble on it.
Sure, a lot of stuff going on, yeah. So
interesting.
So where's this billionaire when we need the motherfucker?
That's where I don't exactly know if she was going through somewhere. They knew she was coming. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not. It sounds like she's a political prisoner. We talked about it in the last podcast. They're trying to get an arms dealer, and they want to free him in exchange for her.
Yeah, and you know the calculation we're making is she's not worth that.
Yeah.
It's like if we only have so many political prisoners, they're making the cold calculation of, we're not going to trade you a diplomat and an arms dealer for a basketball player.
Yeah.
Especially a black lesbian.
Isn't that crazy that there is if that was certain people, they would do it for. Like if that was Obama. Yeah. If Obama got kidnapped in Russia. Oh, yeah. Actually, no, we'd be at war.
Yeah, we'd be at war. For sure.
Wouldn't be. It'd have to be like Oprah.
Oprah.
Oprah. What if Oprah went to Russia and they got Oprah for a CBD pen?
Would she pay it off?
Do you think she would?
Yeah.
That's all she'd have to do?
I think.
How much do you think it costs to get out of jail right now in Russia?
I think Oprah got it. I know that
got it for sure. Yeah. Somebody doesn't have it to get Brittany Griner out. She's been in there for 4 months.
Well, the WNBA doesn't make a lot of money.
How much money do you think you'd have to bribe them? Just guess. I mean, for sure they have character and moral, and they would never accept our bribe.
Oh yeah, no, of course, no.
Of course, that's not what we're saying.
I say probably 100 million.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that's probably the salaries of the whole WNBA.
She's in trouble. She's really in trouble, man.
Yeah, man. She's facing, what, 10 years?
Yeah, something like that. And she's already been in there for 4 months, and they're detaining her for another 6.
What's wild is, like, I think that's more than they give you for being gay over there.
Is that part of it?
Well, no, because I don't know if
it's illegal to be gay over there.
It's illegal, yeah, but I don't know.
Is that real? We talked about it in the last podcast, but we never really looked it up. Is it illegal to be gay in Russia? Is that a real thing?
Look, I'm reading something about her specific thing, and it's saying there's many angles to this story. And I'm trying to see if it's saying.
I think it's illegal to do gay shit. I think they know she's. I mean, if you flying in female basketball players, you know, some lesbians in the bunch.
You know what's interesting about Russia? Here it is. This is a very difficult position to play like Glarner, an outspoken advocate for LGBTQ rights, living and working in a country that has outlawed the propaganda. Outlawed the propaganda of non-traditional sexual relations. Propaganda. Under the vague cloak of that cruel law, Griner's own marriage to her wife, Sherelle, might be considered a criminal act.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
But stop trying to control how people fucking.
It's weird. But I was just going to say there's like levels of dictatorships. And what we're seeing in Russia, which is really interesting, it's like an emerged level of dictatorship that we didn't think existed after the Cold War. We thought Russia had gone into some sort of vague semi-democracy, right?
Yeah.
But then when Putin really just grabbed the bull by the balls and decided to be president again, and you realize like, oh, no. This is a propaganda-driven dictatorship, just like North Korea, just like a little looser, though. Like, you can have guys like chess masters who talk shit about the government, and they don't kill them. You know, like they haven't killed Garry Kasparov.
Because one of the most dangerous people is a motherfucker that is one of the top soldiers that lost the last war. Like, they always come back because he was one of the top soldiers in the Cold War when we whooped that ass.
Yes.
And we never thought he'd be running the country. Like, you know, you ever heard of Hannibal, the General Hannibal?
Yes.
He was beating the shit out of Rome, like whooping their ass up left and right. And one of the biggest battles ever, the Battle of Cannae, is when he wiped out a large percentage of the male Roman population in one day with a smaller army, just by outsmarting them. But one of the motherfuckers escaped, Scipio, and they call him now Scipio Africanus because he studied all his tactics, he bided his time, and he came back and beat and was whooping Hannibal's ass. He didn't end up killing him. He killed him killing himself later on, but he figured out the blueprint. He came back and beat him with his own tactics because he was one of the like handful of motherfuckers that slipped away from Cannae when Hannibal was beating the shit out of Rome. So
he saw how they did it and knew their tactics, and then devised a strategy.
Yeah, because one of the big advantages Hannibal had was his Nubian cavalry, and when Scipio came back to fight him, he paid them off. So now they were on his side.
Oh, well, one of the things about Russia and the Soviet Union and the whole thing is that they have always had a long-term propaganda strategy for the United States. And it was outlined in this conversation from like 1984 by this guy, Yuri, how do I say his name? Is Bemenov? Do you remember that guy? He was a guy who used to work for the Soviet Union. See if you can find it.
Yuri Bemenov.
I'm trying to remember his name. I think I'm fucking that up. But he basically was outlining their strategy for getting us to no longer trust our democracy. Find his name? Bezmenov. I knew I fucked it up. But this guy outlined. See, let's play it because it's kind of crazy. I know we've played this before, but it's really interesting.
It's an hour and a half long. I don't know where the exact part would be. This is the full interview.
Get a highlight. How?
Warning to America.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you. That's it. That's perfect.
Damn, he defected. They killed his ass, right?
I don't know.
Ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand.
So he used to work for the
Soviets
KGB.
used the phrase ideological subversion. What do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the process which is legitimate, overt, and open. You can see it with your own eyes. All you have to do, all American mass media has to do, is to unplug their bananas from their ears, open up their eyes, and they can see it. There is no mystery. There is nothing to do with espionage. I know that espionage intelligence gathering looks more romantic. It sells more deodorants through the advertising, probably. That's why your Hollywood producers are so crazy about James Bond type of thrillers. But in reality, the main emphasis of the KGB is not in the area of intelligence at all. According to my opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The result you can see. Most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black. You still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible. To get rid society of these people, you need another 20 or 15 years to educate a new generation of patriotically minded and common sense people who would be acting in favor and in the interests of the United States society.
And yet these people who've been programmed and, as you say, in place and
Yes.
who are favorable to an opening with the Soviet concept, these are the very people who would be marked for extermination in this country?
Most of them, yes. Simply because the psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice, obviously they will revolt. They will be very unhappy, frustrated people. And the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people. Obviously they will join the links of dissenters, dissidents. Unlike in present United States, there will be no place for dissent in future Marxist-Leninist America. Here you can get popular like Daniel Ellsberg and filthy rich like Jane Fonda for being dissident, for criticizing your Pentagon. In future, these people will be simply squashed like cockroaches. Nobody is going to pay them nothing for their beautiful, noble ideas of equality. This they don't understand, and it will be greatest shock for them, of course. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization.
What the fuck?
So basically America is stuck with demoralization, and unless, even if you start right now, here, this minute, you start educating new generation of Americans, it will still take you 15 to 20 years to turn the tide of ideological perception of reality back to normalcy and patriotism. The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby, it doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation, what matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis. You can see it in Central America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, "Now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized." This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis, to promise people all kind of goodies and the paradise on earth, to destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C., with benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. He will go to Moscow to kiss the bottoms of new generation of Soviet assassins. Never mind. He will create false illusions that the situation is under control. Situation is not under control. Situation is disgustingly out of control. Most of the American politicians, media, and educational system trains another generation of people who think they are living at a peacetime. False. The United States is in the state of war, undeclared total war against the basic principles and the foundations of this system. And the initiator of this war is not Comrade Andropov, of course. It's the system. However ridiculous it may sound, the world communist system or the world communist conspiracy, whether I scare some people or not, I don't give a hoot. If you are not scared by now, nothing can scare you. But you don't have to be paranoid about it. What actually happens now, that unlike myself, you have literally several years to live on unless the United States wake up. The time bomb is ticking. With every second, the disaster is coming closer and closer. Unlike myself, you will have nowhere to defect to, unless you want to live in Antarctica with penguins. This is it. This is the last country of freedom and possibility.
Okay, so what do we do? What is your recommendation to the American people?
Well, the immediate thing that comes to my mind is, of course, there must be a very strong national effort to educate people in the spirit of real patriotism, number one. Number two, to explain them the real danger of socialist, communist, whatever, welfare state, big brother government. If people will fail to grasp the impending danger of that development, nothing ever can help United States. You may kiss goodbye to your freedom, including freedoms to homosexuals, to prison inmate, all these freedoms will vanish, evaporate in 5 seconds, including your precious lives. The second thing, the moment at least part of United States population is convinced that the danger is real, they have to force their government. And I'm not talking about sending letters, signing petitions, and all this beautiful, noble activity. I'm talking about forcing United States government to stop aiding communism. Because there is no other problem more burning and urgent than to stop the Soviet military-industrial complex from destroying whatever is left of the free world. And it is very easy to do. No credits, no technology, no money, no political or diplomatic recognition, and of course no such idiocy as grain deals to USSR. The Soviet people, 270 millions of Soviets, will be eternally thankful to you if you stop aiding a bunch of murderers who sit now in Kremlin and whom President Reagan respectfully calls government. They do not govern anything, least of all such complexity as the Soviet economy. So basic, two very simple, maybe too simplistic answers or solutions, but nevertheless they are the only solutions. Educate yourself, understand what's going on around you. You are not living at the time of peace. You are in a state of war, and you have precious little time to save yourself. You don't have much time.
Wow. I was
Now,
expecting
that's from like the 80s.
84.
1984. So what he's basically talking about was they embedded these kind of educators in place, and they somehow or another were responsible for like putting psychological warfare on people. And that sounds hard to believe, right? How could someone get through the process of becoming a PhD and all that stuff? But what doesn't sound hard to believe is that they do it with social media, because they 100% do. So this is not a new tactic that they devised. The tactic of getting us to lose faith in our country, in our government, and in our process, they've been doing that forever. But they have a sophisticated way of doing it now through the internet.
It's crazy.
They have programs, and they have people, and they have farms where they just propagandize and do things. Did I ever tell you about that? There's a lady named Renee DiResta. She's been on the podcast before, and she researched this. She found out there was, one of the things they found out when they were looking at these propaganda sites, the top 20 Christian sites on Facebook, 19 of them were run by Russian troll farms.
Wow.
They were like in Macedonia or some shit. They're all these propaganda farms. And they would organize conflicts. Like they had like a Texas separatist group that they organized, and they had them meet right next to some Muslim group. So they had a Muslim group across the street from the Texas separatist group.
Wow. They
do it on purpose. They're all trying to initiate conflict. And she was saying it was really funny because like I'm a big fan of memes. I think memes are one of the more interesting forms of comedy that exists. Every day my friends are sending me memes. We're going back. I've become like sick with it lately.
It's the evolution of the street joke.
It is like that, because it's like, man, who's writing these? Because some of them with the picture, they're so funny. Look at this one. This is like, this only could exist in this form with a picture similar to this with this caption. When you nut fast and she cussing you out, so you sit there like. I mean, how funny is that? It's so funny. I mean, through this pandemic, I've been obsessed with memes. I've been getting so many people send me funny memes. So many of these like text message chains are funny memes.
Yeah, they're good.
There's so many good pages. Some of them are restricted. Some of them are hard to find.
The pages?
Yeah, some of them are hard to find.
Some of them are thieves.
Oh, well, almost all of them are thieves.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, who is the guy? It's like the street joke, like you were saying.
Yeah. Some people steal jokes, but some people there were kids that were like raised on this.
Yes.
And it's just how they think.
They think in memes.
Yeah.
But it's a new form of comedy, right?
Oh, definitely. It's
images with funny text.
That's what cartoons were, though, for the 1800s, right?
I guess, yeah.
Draw a little funny
kinda,
picture. You say a
yeah.
little stupid thing. And
But part of the thing is that the photo's not supposed to be for that.
True,
That's
true,
what's
true.
part of
Yeah,
what's
right.
funny.
Yeah, okay.
Like all the Greta Thunberg ones, I have like 100 of those.
Yeah, because also too, it's like it's cultural in a way that because like if you showed a Greta Thunberg meme to somebody in I don't know, somewhere where they wouldn't know who she was,
Right.
The joke wouldn't really hit. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, it would make sense 5
It's
years
like-
ago.
It wouldn't make sense.
It's like this shared. The memes are like this
Yeah.
shared thing.
Well, it has to be something that everybody understands, a thing. Like who the person is or what the thing is.
But
It
you know
ha-
what? Sometimes
Look at this one. We just had a fat line and you're waiting for your turn to tell a story.
no, you know these dude. I've had some that fucking trip. There was one where I saw one where it was DMX, DMX's head on Professor X's body, and it was like, y'all gonna make me use my mind. And I swear I laughed at it like 50 times that day.
Joe, you've become big in the golf meme community.
Nice. How did I get?
They use you a lot,
Nice.
multiple times.
Really?
Yeah, I see them. I mean, I follow those around. I see 'em
Nice.
daily.
Well, as someone who doesn't play golf, I talk about golf a lot.
So it's again, they're not. It's
Not
not when you're
golf
talking
related?
about golf. It's
Oh, it's just
everything
other
that's
shit?
ungolf related, and they like make it seem like golf. Like you were talking about how many specials you had one time, and you're like counting, like I don't know, 1, 2, 3, like that. Like you're counting them on your fingers,
Right.
and the meme is like, how many strokes did I get on that hole? I don't know, 1, 2, 3.
But you know what? Sometimes some people just become. It's just a face they're making or something, and it's
Yeah.
just a random person that doesn't have shit to do with shit.
Yeah, always.
And you see them later.
Yep.
Yeah, and like they do shit where they catch up with them.
Oh, pushing one out in the pro shop bathroom 30 seconds before my tea time.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
Yeah, memes. It's
Send me that one. That one's funny. Yeah, there's some funny ones, man. It's just it's an interesting form of comedy. And I bet a lot of it's created by people just sitting in the cubicle, bored as fuck at work. You know, like how much work gets done at work for a lot of people?
Very little.
Because a lot of people are online, fucking around.
Yeah, you read that book? Have you heard of this book, Bullshit Jobs?
No.
I forget who it's by, but he talks about that. How like there's so many jobs created in America that don't need to exist, and most of the time we spend looking busy,
Right?
Because our job isn't important. It's not necessary at all, and we all know it deep down. Like if you're doing a job that's not necessary, you know it,
Right.
and it fucks with your self-esteem and everything. Like most people aren't doing shit at work, or they're going out of their way to not do, to look like they're doing shit.
Yeah, well, if you don't have a job that requires you to do shit and you're just unsupervised and you don't even like your job and you have a fucking computer. Like how many people are posting on Twitter all day while they're at work, just checking Twitter and posting it?
Oh yeah.
Constantly. Like if you have a phone at work and no one's watching you.
Computer.
Yeah.
People that play video games all night are supposed to be watching shit.
Oh, I'm sure.
But see, you know what part of the problem is that we're in this new age of technology and efficiency, but we're still like 2 generations back in terms of like what work culture is. So it's like it's not necessary for anybody to be in the office for 8 hours.
Right.
But there's all these old school owners and managers that are like, I need you in the office for 8 hours, even though, we spent these last couple of decades like in putting all this technology in the workplace that makes that not necessary.
Well, definitely not if you are responsible and disciplined and you work at home. Like you get more done because you don't have to commute.
Yeah, and there's people who have employees now. They were forced to work from home during the pandemic. They can do their job perfectly fine. There's no reason for them to be in the office, and their boss is still like, yeah, but I like having people in the office.
Yeah, there are people that are like that, right?
Yeah,
I guess it doesn't depend on what you're doing though. There's some shit like you'd want to be in. Like if you're writing on a sitcom, you got to be in the room, right?
Yeah,
Don't
I
you?
agree.
You have to be in the writer's room.
There's certain jobs that require that, but it's like accounts receivable. That doesn't have to be in that building. No.
Why would it? You could get everything done with a direct message.
But there's this weird thing of like, I don't want you to get over. It's like, 'cause I'd rather you work 4 hours and me pay you the same. So maybe now I'm paying you $50 an hour or something. So your check's the same. I'd rather have you work half the hours and do your job efficiently than have you just sitting around for extra time for no reason.
Don't you think a lot of people like being the leader of a team?
Oh yeah,
I want all my team in the building.
yeah. But we've learned a long time ago. It's the difference between being a leader and being put in charge. You know.
That's true too, but maybe if you're not around people, they don't get it. Like, you know, maybe they think like you got to like absorb the ethic of this company. You got to be hustling on the floor. Everybody's got the morale's got to be high.
Right.
You know, they have like those team building things where they go to Hawaii together. They all fucking snorkel and shit.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Like,
that's a big thing with a lot of these companies. Team building.
Like, yeah, we'll spend $100,000 on a fishing trip, but we won't give nobody a raise.
But I think they think there's like a value to it. I think they've put like a psychological value on the idea that they can like give them something fun to do. Like I was in Hawaii recently. I was in Maui, and there was a whole group like that. A whole group of people that work for this company, and they all had like stickers on their fucking shirts. They're walking around in Hawaii with a sticker on their shirt that says like, "Hi, I'm Bob," like that kind of shit. Because they have to, and with like you know, like whatever the logo of the company was. I'm like, that is bizarre. You're on a trip, and you're on vacation with the people you work with, but you got to wear a sticker.
It's nonsense. You know what makes people happy? I mean, and you know this, right? We all have miserable family and stuff. People that have jobs that they hate, people that have jobs that they love. And for me, it's like, look, people need purpose. They need a sense of purpose, and they need to feel like they're being fairly compensated.
Yeah.
That's all. Fuck that trip. Fuck the pizza party. Every job I've ever hated, well, no, that's not true either, because I was making good money at that job. Oh, no, but I didn't have a sense of purpose. I was like, I could teach a fucking monkey how to do this.
Yeah, you're a guy that wants to do things, though. Some people don't want to do things. Like, some people don't have ideas that they really want to implement. They don't have, like, a dream that they want to chase. They just want to work. There's, like, different kinds of people out there.
You're right. You're right.
You know?
Yeah, I knew it was I was in the service with a motherfucker like that. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he was one of these motherfuckers that was, like, he was raised on a farm, like, for real.
Yeah.
And he just had to fucking work every day. Like it was like, he's the only person I've ever met like this in my life. Where it's like, you know, it's lunchtime and we got an hour, and he spends 15 minutes eating his lunch, standing up, and then goes back to work. He's one of those type of people that just loves to work. He feels like shit if he doesn't get a hard day's working. I'm like, yeah, he's built different than me.
Yeah, some people like it almost like as a physical exercise activity. They like a hard day of work chucking hay at the farm. Yeah. You know? Those motherfuckers are strong as shit, too.
They hard, man.
Those people that throw hay around, shake hands with one of those dudes.
Been doing this since they was a kid. I went to
farmer strength. When
I was in college, like I was hard up for money, and my roommate, his parents were looking for they took care of animals. So they had like a small farm, where they had like 6 cows, like 40 dogs, like it was one of those type of places. But he was a farm animal veterinarian, his father. But they had a little property, and they wanted me, so just so I could make a little extra money, they pulled me out. They pulled me over there to, I was supposed to chop down weeds for them. Like it was these crazy vines that like you have to fucking beat them down with chains and chop them up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I worked for these motherfuckers for one day, and they were like, "We're good. We don't need you to come back." You know what I mean? Because it was like, no, because the first day I bust my ass. And they were like, "Good job." And the second day, I was like, my body didn't have it. I just didn't have anything left. And this dude told me like he grew up doing this.
Yeah, but you got to build up to that.
Yeah.
Physical labor like that is like working out. It really is. I had a summer that I worked building a construction ramp, like the wheelchair ramp rather, for Knights at Columbus Hall. So for the whole summer, for like whatever length of time, I only think I kept the job for a month. I had to carry cement bags and pressure-treated lumber the whole summer. So it's 100 degrees outside, whatever the fuck it was, 90 degrees outside, and I've got cement bags on my shoulder. I'm hiking them up this fucking ramp and carrying pressure-treated lumber. And pressure-treated lumber is chemically treated lumber, and those splinters, you get infected, and they're fucking nasty. Like they hurt like hell. And so I'm constantly carrying all summer long, and I realized, like, oh, I could get stuck here. Like, this could be my life. Like, if you're a laborer and this is like what you do from now on, this is your whole day, every day. And I would get out of work and I'd try to work out, and I had nothing. I tried to hit the bag. I was like, I was just exhausted. You can't just go right into that. And I was in pretty good shape. You can't just go right into that.
Yeah.
Like, that's work.
You can't even wash your back. You just
And you could fuck things up too, man. That's how people fuck up their backs.
yeah.
If you don't have like the muscle stability in your core and you're lifting heavy shit all the time, all of a sudden, like, you could fuck yourself, especially if you don't know how to do it right.
It's gonna be tough.
Hard labor, man. You know, that is a fucking rough way to make a life.
Yeah. It's up there with fighting. Right? Or it's not
Fighting's exciting if you win, right? If you're good, it's a skill. You could develop it. You could be very clever. You could be like Floyd Mayweather. You rarely get hit. You reach the top of the top.
Well, you can do that in boxing. You can't really do that in
MMA?
In MMA, like never get hit.
Not well. Something's gonna happen.
Yeah,
You know, if you fight long enough, something's gonna happen.
I feel like every victory take a piece out of you.
Some of them do, yeah. Well, that's the difference between Floyd and everybody else, in my opinion. When people talk about the best boxer ever, I'm like, man, it's hard to make an argument against Floyd Mayweather because he's the only guy that never really got fucked up.
Yeah,
he only
true.
got hit hard like 3 or 4 times ever.
Yeah, and the thing is, you look at he was in his prime for like longer than anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, he never really had a falling off period.
No.
And
he's the best at not getting hit.
yeah, and then people talk about how he everyone always made excuses about how he fought somebody when they were young or whatever. And he fought the dude when he was 40.
Yeah.
Floyd was 40.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, he's cherry picking. I'm like,
Of course he is.
he's fighting. Well, yeah, he's 40 years old.
Well, not just that. Every boxer wants to do that. It's a smart thing to do up until you get to a certain point, and then you have to fight the other champions. But it's a smart way to maximize your money. It's a smart way to get more ring experience. And, it's a smart way to keep defending your title. Like, a lot of guys would rather fight a guy when he's slightly over the hill. And with Floyd and Manny Pacquiao, I think he was pretty clever. Because, look, Manny Pacquiao, when he was young, was a real problem. His hand speed was spectacular. His cardio was spectacular. His punching power was ridiculous. He was a real fucking problem. And Floyd played that nice and slow. And then when he caught Manny, it was when Manny was, he'd been knocked out by Barrera. He wasn't the same Manny anymore.
And didn't he also lose to who's his rival? That Floyd beat. Floyd made that boy look ordinary. You know what I'm talking about? I can't remember his fucking name.
Wasn't that who? Oh, Juan Manuel Marquez.
Yeah, Marquez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said Barrera. I meant Marquez. I fucked that up. Yeah, Juan Manuel Marquez. He knocked out Manny in the last fight. They had 3 fights together.
Right.
I think they split decisions, and then he knocked him out. I forget. But anyway, Floyd just boxed the pants off of him.
Yeah, he made him look real silly.
Well, Floyd does that to everybody. Floyd did that to Canelo. Floyd does that to everybody.
Yeah, and he fought young Canelo.
Yeah.
Now Canelo, not Canelo now.
No, definitely not Canelo now. Canelo learned from him.
But I still believe he would beat him.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's hard now because Canelo's a tank now. He's so big. You'd have to get him down to a manageable weight because he was 152 when he fought Floyd. Floyd was very smart.
Oh, okay.
He made him cut down below the 154 limit because he knew he struggled even to get to 154. So Floyd made him cut an extra 2 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Which is very sneaky.
Yeah, he knows all the little tricks,
course he
what
does.
gloves to use, all
Of course,
that.
all the above.
Yeah.
He'll make sure because he's had fragile hands in the past, so he makes sure you use like a glove that has a little more padding on the front, the same amount of weight, but a little bit more padding for his hands. Because there's like just gloves that are puncher's gloves, like Cleto Reyes, these Mexican gloves. They're like a firmer. There's more. There's like the padding is not as smushy, and then other gloves are kind of smushy. They're the same weight, but they're not the same density. Maybe they're not made the same way.
But they both have to fight with the exact same gloves.
Yeah, well, Floyd would negotiate that. Yeah. Floyd would make sure you fought with the gloves that he wanted you to fight with.
So
he just did everything he did was to his advantage.
The UFC doesn't do that, right? Everyone has to do.
Everyone has the same gloves. They fight with UFC certified and approved gloves. That's it. And they're not the best gloves. The best gloves are made by Trevor Whitman. Trevor Whitman is a guy, his company's called Onyx. He makes the best bag gloves. He makes the best shin and instep pads, like the best material in terms of like the density of the foam. His stuff is the shit. And he came up with and he's a top flight coach. He coached Justin Gaethje, Rose Namajunas,
right.
Kamaru Usman, top flight coach. and he came up with this MMA glove that's way better. It first of all, it curves the hand instead of like extends.
So you can't poke people.
The eye pokes are not going to be as frequent. It makes your hand that naturally. Because some guys have said to me that when they're fighting, especially like, you've gone a few rounds, your hands are tired, the gloves are actually almost trying to open your hand. Like it takes an effort to close your fist. As opposed to like right now, there's no effort to close my fist. But with those gloves, you kind of have to make a little bit of an effort. And then also you have the padding of the hand wraps and all that stuff. So it's kind of, your hands almost want to extend. But Trevor's gloves are already turned over. Like your hand is turned into a knuckle position naturally. And then on top of that, the density of the foam is way better. I think it'll have way less hand breaks.
So why won't the UFC?
I don't know. That's why I'm talking about it. Trying to get them to get off their ass. It's the best. They're the best gloves. We should only have these gloves. Maybe there was like some sort of they were trying to make a deal and they didn't do it. Is that his glove? Yeah, that's a white one. That's I have his other stuff. They're black. See if you can go to his website. But that's a good.
I do. Every time I go to the website, it really just is showing the boxing stuff a lot.
His boxing stuff is awesome too. His gloves are the shit. They're really, really good. But that glove that I have on my hand is way superior to any other glove that I've ever felt. The Pride glove is pretty good, but I think that's better. And you could still grapple with it. You could still do everything with it. I use his bag gloves too. He's got fucking amazing stuff.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, man. It's always money. It's always a money thing.
Maybe, I don't know. Who the fuck knows? Maybe it's too expensive to build. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I just like, we should use the best shit. We're the best organization. Why don't we use the best shit? That's the best shit.
Does anyone use the Whitman gloves?
I don't think so. I mean, Trevor's,
What's that?
He's a mad genius. He figured it out on his own. You want some coffee?
Oh, no.
No?
I thought it was whiskey.
Oh, you want some whiskey?
Yeah.
We have whiskey. All you have to do is ask, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Can we get a glass and some ice? Glasses and some ice? Anyway, it's just Floyd was smart enough to decide everything in his favor.
Yeah.
He's just clever as fuck. He always pretended he was going to fight an MMA fight with Conor. We'll fight a boxing match first, then I'll fight you in your shit. Like, please.
No way.
No fucking way is he going to do that.
That's a whole other world.
Yeah, it's a whole other world. That's a different thing. Like, most boxers cannot compete with MMA fighters. But, a good, decent MMA striker can go a few rounds. As long as the guy's not a murderer like a Mike Tyson in his prime.
Right.
They can go a few rounds. They're going to be outclassed. They'll go a few rounds. But a guy who doesn't do MMA, who fights an MMA fighter, you're getting fucked up. You're going to get your legs kicked out from under you quick.
Yeah, you're going to get taken down. You're going to get choked out.
The big thing is leg kicks. That's the big one. Because even if the guy is a striker, but he's a leg kicker, they can kick you from a distance, man. You can't get close enough to punch them, and they're kicking your calves out from under you. They're kicking your thighs apart. You can't move on them right anymore.
Yeah.
You're trying to salute, my brother.
Salute.
Always good to see you.
Same, bro.
I'm very excited about this weekend.
Oh, it's funny you bring up the leg kicks. I was just watching Izzy and John Jones highlights before on the way here. And
Izzy and John Jones.
Yeah,
just separately.
Just watching their highlights. Oh
Right.
yeah, not against each other, but just watching how, because they're the masters of
Distance.
Yeah, and they're because I think John Jones has a little more like violent intention behind. You know what I mean? Because he's a little more of a psycho.
Interesting.
Because when you watch, I'm talking about like the dominant John
Right.
Jones. He would hit motherfuckers like he didn't care if the hit killed you.
Oh yeah, like when he stopped Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, and some people don't have that. They don't have that.
Right.
That killer instinct where it's like, I don't care what this does.
Izzy's got that too, though.
Oh yeah.
Izzy's got that.
Izzy's
just the most sophisticated of the strikers. He's if you watch striking, if you're a person who likes striking and you like setups and stuff, what he's doing something very different because he's getting guys to move a certain way. He's reading you. Like you see when Izzy's moving around, he's reading you.
Yeah.
He's seeing if he can come forward with the right hand. He's seeing if you're looking at that right hand, he kicks your leg. Yeah. He's going to move out of the range of your power.
It's like he's thinking in 4D or something.
He's downloading all your data. And he can see like weaknesses in people. Like a great example is Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa steamrolled everybody. He was just smashing people. He's a giant dude. They called him the eraser. He would just move forward and just fucking and Izzy just picked him apart.
He made him look
foolish.
Yeah.
And by the end of the first round, you could see he was baffled. Like he was fucked. because he knew, like, I can't hit this dude, and he's standing right in front of me. And he would swing at Izzy, and Izzy would be just out of range, and then he'd make him pay. Just out of range, and make him pay. And then after he stopped him, he humped him.
Yeah, where I learned a lot, but I watched those.
Do you see that? Do you see that after he stopped him, he humps him? Watch this.
Yeah, because he was talking all that shit.
Yeah, he's talking all that shit. But watch this. 1, 2.
That's why I love Izzy, man, because he don't play that shit.
Well, he's just so slick, man. If you like, for a guy like me who's been interested in striking his whole life, like seeing a guy like this that was a top flight kickboxer make his way into MMA. I reached out to Izzy before he ever fought in the UFC. I saw him fight in kickboxing matches, and I reached out to him on Instagram, like way back in the day. And he was telling me that he's taken some fights in China, and that he's gonna come to the UFC, but he's gonna do it the right way. And he did it the right way. He was smart. Like, some guys jump in, but they don't have a ground game yet. They jump in, they don't have defense yet, but they just feel like, oh, I'm gonna learn a few things, and I'm just gonna use my kickboxing. And then you fight some fucking wrestler, some dude who hits you with that power double, and boom, and you feel that weight and pressure, like, oh shit, I don't know how to handle this.
Yeah,
a lot of guys get fucked up that way.
You run into a Khabib and get
exactly.
Murdered.
You run into some Dagestani assassin, and you're fucked. But Izzy did it the right way.
Well, I watch. I like watching the morning combat guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luke Thomas, and who's the other dude? Luke's been on the podcast before. He's got that dude with him.
So he made me understand just how much on another level Izzy is from everybody else. Because he breaks it. He'll have a 2-3 hour video where he's like, telling you.
Brian Campbell. Yeah, Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell.
Yeah, they broke it down one time, and I was like, "Oh wow, this motherfucker is." Because I don't have the experience in fighting that you have, right? So I was like, there needs to be a John Madden of MMA,
yeah.
And made me because at first I always liked watching Izzy, but I didn't get the chess match that he's playing.
Yeah,
that other people just aren't. They're not even aware that there's another game being played other than that. Yeah. Other than swinging and kicking, right? He's on some other shit, man.
Well, the way he describes it is like a lot of people are just button smashers. Like if you're playing a game, you're like, trying to make something happen. He's like, he's setting things up. He's setting things up. And there's other guys that set things up. And that's one of the things that makes this weekend so interesting is because he's on the same card as Alex Pereira. And Alex Pereira
beat him.
He knocked him out. He KO'd him with a left hook in a kickboxing match.
Okay, I heard
and
that,
he beat him once by unanimous decision, and then the rematch he KO'd Izzy. And he's only fought twice in the UFC, but he's won both fights, and now he's fighting the number 4 ranked Sean Strickland this weekend. It's very interesting because they're basically trying to fast track him into a fight with Izzy.
I'm sorry, man. You know what? You got to show me somebody to beat him.
Well, let me show you somebody. I'm not saying that he could beat him, but Alex Pereira is one of the scariest fucking strikers on planet Earth. He's this dude from Brazil. He's a bad motherfucker. And this is when he fought Izzy. I don't know if this is the first fight or the second fight, but it was a real good fight, back and forth. But then this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's got that kind of power. But go to Alex Pereira's highlights. That said, the Izzy from back then is not the Izzy of today.
No.
He's way better now. Way better now. Alex Pereira, who was primarily a kickboxer, 2-division world champion in Glory, now he's made his way over to MMA, and he's just we were seeing that one. Here it is. This dude fucks people up, and these are with big gloves on. He's one of the most vicious knockout artists in Glory history. Like, unusual power. Like, almost everybody gets starched. And the dude's crazy durable, too. Like, he gets into wars with people. And
can they not throw kicks?
Oh, they can, but he's... Oh. Yeah, he's got kick knockouts, too, but there's a left hand that KO'd Dustin Jacoby. He's a bad motherfucker.
No,
look at that. Look at that left hook.
Answer me this, Joe.
Dude.
What changes besides the obvious from the octagon from the boxing ring to the octagon?
More room for sure.
Okay.
No corners. So cutting off people is different. Cutting off people in a boxing ring is There's a little more room for like you could box someone into a corner, you know.
Okay.
Like he moves like you have an angle, right? Well, with the octagon, it's a little bit easier to move around the edges, but even maybe more importantly, there's a lot more space to fight in. Like they're a lot bigger than this. So you got the octagon, you got a lot of room for shit. There's a lot of, like the smaller octagon is like what they use at the Apex Center, which is really interesting because you see like heavyweights in that. Like when Francis Ngannou fought Stipe Miocic, when he won the title, it was in the little octagon. And I'm like, man, Stipe's going to have a hard time getting the fuck away from him in that little octagon because it's quite a bit smaller.
How much littler? Okay.
So look at the difference. So the UFC's octagon sides... So it's 750 square feet to 400 square feet. And that's just a normal boxing ring. Boxing rings vary, which is interesting. Like sometimes they're a little bigger and smaller. Like sometimes for a fight, they'll make a smaller ring to favor like a slugger, or they'll make a bigger ring to favor a boxer. Like they'll put that in the contract. Like I want a 28-foot ring. Like they'll come up with shit that they can put in the contract.
No, why did the UFC decide to go with why do they have two different sizes?
It's a good question. The smaller ones, because the smaller venue, the octagon that they have in the Apex is smaller. See, it's the smaller one is 48 meters and the other one is 69 meters square. So it's 20% wider and 44% larger. The full size octagon is. So when they use the small one, like for big guys like Ngannou, man, like there's nowhere to run. You know, in a small ring, a boxing ring with a slugger, that's kind of the same thing.
Can the fighters request that with the size, or do they have to agree on it?
MMA fighters, no. No, there's no. Unless you say, I'm never fighting in the Apex Center. If you make that a part of your contract, you never have to fight in the Apex Center. But what if there's going to be a world championship fight? Like they had world championship fights in the Apex Center during the pandemic.
Yeah, and I'd imagine telling Dana White that there's certain shit you ain't going to do. That's not going to fly.
No. They've got a solid organization. It's a crazy fucking sport, man. It really is. It's a crazy sport. And when you see a guy like Izzy that's so dominant and so good and so clever, you want to see a guy like Alex Pereira. Like that's the guy that tests him. But the dude he's fighting, this guy Sean Strickland, is a bad motherfucker. He's no joke. He's a tough dude, and he's been beating everybody at 185 pounds.
I thought Izzy was fighting Cannonier.
No, Izzy is.
Oh, right.
No, Alex Pereira is fighting Sean
Okay,
Strickland.
right.
Alex Pereira is fighting Sean Strickland, and Sean Strickland is very dangerous. He's a number 4 contender. He's very good. And he's also has a solid ground game, too. And if he gets Pereira down on the ground, like he has the potential to submit him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Can you pull up the card? Because I'm also excited about...
Max Holloway and Volkanovski.
Oh,
yes.
dude.
That's going to be wild. That is going to be wild. Those guys are so razor close. The card is fantastic. Look at this.
Oh, fuck. That,
Look at just the final three fights.
Just those 4 fights right there.
Yeah, Barberina versus Robbie Lawler before that. But those fights, like that dude Sean Strickland, he's a dangerous motherfucker.
Didn't somebody just cancel? Sean O'Malley and Pedro Munoz?
Yeah.
No, was it Holly Holmes?
No,
Misha Tate.
Oh, Misha Tate.
Yeah, so this is a fantastic card. And they're going to start off with Pedro Munoz and Sean O'Malley, motherfucker. That's a great fight, too.
I can't believe that's the beginning.
That's the beginning. That's the first fight on the card in the pay-per-view.
Sean O'Malley only has one loss?
Yeah, Cheeto Vera.
Didn't he broke something, right?
Well, he kicked him in his calf, and his calf went numb. His toe, apparently, according to Sean, dug right into the nerve of his calf. It's just like a freak thing, and his calf stopped working.
Oh wow!
He still claims he's undefeated, right?
Yeah, well, he's hilarious.
Yeah, he knows what's up, man.
Yeah, I mean, Cheeto Vera is a bad motherfucker.
See,
but it's the part of his marketing.
Because you know what I'm realizing too about this shit is like it's just like show business, where it's like there's more to it than just the talent.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people don't realize that it's a show. The more entertaining you are,
yeah.
That's part of it. Like
Yep.
I hear Chael Sonnen talk about all the time. It's like how, that 30 seconds after, like when you're interviewing people in the ring, is like some of them don't realize like you need to be calling out the next guy, and all of that shit matters. Yep.
How good you are on the mic. Like Michael Chandler's fantastic.
He's
on the mic.
He's amazing.
He's amazing.
Yeah, it's like you can't be afraid to be controversial.
Oh no.
I mean,
he obviously has like things ready.
Yeah, because it's like take Cody for example. I mean, not Cody. What the fuck am I talking about? just fought, who had the rivalry with Usman?
Colby
Colby Covington. Take Colby Covington. Even though he's still one of like the best guys in the world, but he talked his way into fighting for a title.
Well, he talked his way into this like pro wrestling heel type character that people want to see lose but want to see fight.
Yeah, I love it.
Floyd did that too. Floyd was very smart with that whole Money Mayweather thing. Like he got people angry at him. Like they wanted to see him lose.
Yep.
Like how many people buy Floyd Mayweather pay-per-views just because they want to see him lose?
Probably more than half.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's like people that hate listen to Howard Stern.
Oh yeah, back in the day, right?
Yeah.
That movie Private Parts, when they talked about that. Yeah, there's a lot of people hate listening.
Yeah. Well, now he's completely different, but
it's weird, right?
It is a little strange because I don't listen every day, but then I come back and listen. I'm like, oh, this isn't.
Yeah, he's a different guy now.
Yeah, well, I guess I don't hold that against nobody.
Yeah, if you want to change, I mean, you are who you are.
That's growth.
It's better to be who you are than to like have to live up to some old version of yourself.
Yeah, because I think some people think their fans expect that of them.
Yeah.
You know? And
well, I mean, some people are captured by their fans.
Some people that are who they are. But it works. Like, oh, here's a perfect example. You know how people always giving Bert shit about taking his shirt off?
Yes.
I say keep taking your shirt off, big man.
Who gives him shit? Why do they care?
Just other comics, talk shit because it's not comedy.
Right, but why would anybody care?
It's Joe. I was just on his Fully Loaded tour with him, and I'm telling you, it's fucking amazing. He can do two things that other comics can't really do. He has that pop because the audience want to see it. Right. So the moment when he takes off his shirt, it's something that the fans, they just lose their fucking mind. And he can do. So I was with him we were in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and his wife and kids came, and his kids have never seen him perform.
Oh wow!
They weren't interested, and him and his wife had agreed, like not till they couldn't hear the Machine story till they were of age, whatever. So his daughters are there. He brings them on stage to tell the Machine story, and so this is another thing that I realized. He's taken a superpower from musicians because we don't get to repeat shit.
Right.
He can tell. Look at this. He can tell the Machine story whenever the fuck he wants.
He's running with flip flops on to go do comedy.
Yeah, man.
He's got flip flops on. Look at that. Who the fuck does stand up in flip flops? For real.
And those are his brand of flip flops.
Who the fuck does stand up in flip flops other than Bert Kreischer?
Yeah. In fact, I have a pair of Bert Kreischer flip flops on right now.
Look at this motherfucker.
Yeah, this moment. Watch them fucking lose it.
So he's gonna take his shirt off. Look at that, they're all standing up with their arms in the air.
Yeah.
How many guys in the audience take their shirts off in unison?
Oh, it happens all the time.
In solidarity.
And here's the other thing. At any point, he can go, when I was 22 years old, I got involved in the restaurant. And people, it's a story they've heard 100 times. And they still, tell us, Bert, please. They know the story, but it's like he can tell it whenever he wants.
You know, he told that story here for the very first time.
Really?
And I told him to tell it on stage.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes
sense. During a podcast. When was that?
2012.
Yeah.
11.
Wow, that's not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good story.
That was back when Bert was still on the Travel Channel. He had to watch his P's and Q's on the Travel Channel. We got him to quit.
Yeah.
He was in this great job, but it was holding. If he wasn't as hilarious as he is, it'd be a great job. But it's like, I know you're good at that. I know you're having a good time with that. I know you're making money with that, but you'd be way better just being a stand-up. Like, you're a funny dude, and you're not doing it enough because you're off doing all this other stuff. And he's like, fuck, you're right.
Yeah, that was good advice.
Well, I knew it. I just knew it. And he's also a hustler. Like, Bert hustles. It's not just that he's...
Yeah, he's sneaky genius in the way that, like, he can walk into a room and go, oh, that would be a good shot. That's good promo. Do it this way. Do it, make it that color. You know, like, he just knows how to... And he's constantly promoting.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah, like, everything's...
He's also funny. He's a funny dude.
He's funny.
He's hilarious on podcasts.
Dude, he took us... The Fully Loaded tour was fun as hell. He took us. So we did a show at the Bristol Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. So the show was on the drag track. So the Bristol Dragway, I think it's called. And but right next to it was the NASCAR track, and they put us in this pace car and fucking.
How fast were you going?
I think we peaked out at 122 or something like that. And it's a real short track, like a half a mile. Yeah.
Oh, you're in a fucking regular car with no roof. Fuck that.
Oh yeah.
So that's a pace car.
That's a pace car, yeah.
Oh Jesus. Fuck. Dude, I do not appreciate this. Not in a convertible.
Yeah, dude, and he gets like inches from the wall.
Fuck that, dude. That's a convertible.
And
if that flips, no more Brian Simpson.
See, at this point, so not yet, but when we're up near the top, that's 3 stories above. Right, like right here, that's 3 stories above everybody else.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy to think because the car's almost sideways.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, man.
You got to do that fast.
No, and he said the pros, their average, the pros are going into those turns at 155, 30 miles an hour faster than what we were doing.
But it's a different kind of car.
It's a different kind of car, yeah.
Yeah, the car's set up to go one way.
Yeah.
Set up to take a left turn.
Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's a oddly American sport.
Yeah, and you know what? It's one of those things that like I never really appreciated until I did that.
It's fucking hard.
It's hard. I know that I couldn't.
But isn't it oddly American that it's just so simple? Just go around in a circle.
Yeah.
You know, like the Europeans, they're into Formula One. They're not into NASCAR. That's an oddly American pastime. Am I correct about that? I don't think is NASCAR
exactly correct, but
the Europeans, they want turns. They want strategy.
And they're into that fucking other shit that with the box cars or not box cars. What do you call it? Like the Grand Prix
rally.
The rally shit.
When they go in the dirt.
Yeah.
Those are wild.
They're into that shit too.
Those are weird when you got the guy next to you and he's reading off of a notebook because he's got to tell you right in 20, left in 30. Like, I guess. It's like he knows the course.
You need a co-pilot.
Yeah, because you need to know when to brake to hit a turn, you know, like and how hard the turn is.
That's insane.
I don't think they get a chance to, like, run it before they do it, do they?
I don't know.
Because I would think part of, like, whether or not you could win it would be, like, you figuring out the course. That would be part of the fun of it. Because you're on the dirt in a four-wheel or like a off-road Porsche.
You know what I'm shocked isn't more popular here is that Gymkhana shit. You ever watch that?
What's Gymkhana?
It's like, and I might be pronouncing it wrong, but it's like that. It's like it's they're racing, but they're sliding and around shit and.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's like a drifting thing.
Yeah, Ken Block. Yeah, Ken Block does a lot of this shit, but it's like this shit is so dangerous.
Well, he's a wizard at that shit.
He's unbelievable.
And these cars that he has built, they're special built for that. Look, they're shutting streets down so he can do this. I mean, this is not like a normal scenario where he's just driving. Look at that fucking car.
And he's coming within inches of.
Yeah, look at him. Give me some volume on this. That car sounds fucking crazy. So there's people that are here sitting there while he's doing that.
Yep.
Oh, these are just carts. There's no people in there. Oh, he hit it.
Yeah, wow. I don't think I've ever seen him hit anything.
Look at that fucking car, man. My God, that thing's amazing.
Can you tell what it is?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a 65 Mustang. See if I'm right. God damn, look at that thing. That guy's out of his fucking mind. Look how close he's getting to these poles. I think that car is something like 1,000 horsepower. Look at the engine poking out of the hood.
This is insane.
All right.
That's some Need for Speed type shit. That's the real Fast and the Furious. What year is that car?
I'm gonna check.
Yeah, that guy. But that's not a normal driver.
No. He's the best. I mean, I think they have competitions. I think he's like the best in the world.
You're right.
65?
65.
Yeah.
Mustang.
That thing's the shit. That's a beautiful shape. Look at that. God damn. You know, that car when it first came out was like a secretary's car.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, you look at the old photos of like people standing in front of Mustangs. It's like a lady's car. And then somewhere along the line, it became this beast of a car by like 1969. By 1969, they're you know, they have the Shelby GT500. They have these. See, look at that. Presenting the unexpected, the new Ford Mustang. There's a lady. It's like a pink. It's almost like an off-white pinkish. Maybe that's
Tiffany, Tiffany pink.
Is it?
It got a Tiffany Award for Excellence, it says.
Yeah, look at that. Tiffany Award for Excellence.
This is the car never.
But that was what it used to look like. And then as time went on, they started getting more and more rugged. If you look at an old, like not a fastback, but an old 65 Mustang, a little boring. Compared to other things in 1965, like the Corvette, that was a sports car.
They sold 1 million Mustangs.
Damn, millionth Mustang sale. So I wonder what year that is. That's by the time they figured out the fastback.
It's all 65.
Okay, so look up. See how they got the fastback? Go scroll up. Make that smaller. Make that smaller. There. See the top one?
Oh, yeah.
That's a different shape. So the top one, they figured out how to make it slicker looking. Look at this. Really slide the back out. Make the back window instead of like, make it a longer angle.
Imagine being the first dude to like know and pull up and everybody's like, oh, wow, you driving your little sister's car or whatever. You just smoke the shit out of everybody.
Yeah. And so then they went to like more and more impressive ones. Now go to 1969 Mustang. That's the one that John Wick had. 1969.
Look at the ads because I think it's 30.
Yeah, you want it like a fucking good one. Like that one there on the left, the one that's kind of purplish. Yeah, that's what a 1969 Mach 1 looks like. So this is a commercial from 1969. See, this is a totally different vibe. So by this time, the Mustang became a badass muscle car with a hood scoop.
Mach 1.
Look at that thing. Fuck yeah.
Like it's not for hoes anymore.
America. Fuck yeah. Look at that car. That's a dope car. Look at that thing. God damn.
Mach 1. Special sports performance. Sports roof Mustang.
In 1969, your dick would be fully hard.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be like, what is that? What are they? Google.
You pull up in that?
There's a company that redoes them today.
Like they
Custom Recreations.
they restore them or they just build
They
new ones?
redo them. They make a whole new one from the bottom up, and they make a Mach 1. Classic restorations.
And
I think it's classic
They're not allowed to put
restorations.
the Mustang logo on there?
No, it's like technically a Mustang, but they make it from scratch. I think they use like the fucking front beam that holds the speedometer together. They're like, yeah, we got the fucking original part.
Oh,
like, so you have
okay.
like one original part, and then they put together this like spectacular. Is it Classic Recreations?
I'm trying to.
I think it's
Oh,
Classic
there you go.
Recreations.
Yep, you got it right when you said it.
Yeah. So these guys have figured out how to make. Look at that. Oh, wow. Baby.
Is it the Hitman?
That's the
'cause it's John
Hitman
Wick?
because of John Wick.
Okay, all right.
So that's exact replica of the car John Wick had in the movie, but way better. Like that movie had. This car has like a Coyote Mustang engine, like fat tires, wicked suspension. But they recreate these like old classic cars, but they make them in cars with like killer brakes, killer suspension, and they just look so fucking dope. Look how dope that thing looks. I mean, come the fuck on. That's one thing America nailed in the 1960s. They nailed the muscle car. God, they nailed it. Whew. To this day, all these years later, they're still some of the best looking cars ever.
I mean, one thing we really, really excel at is, for lack of a better term, is the badass aesthetic.
Yes.
We have
Perfect term.
We have the coolest uniforms. We have the cool. Like if you tell America, make something look cool, because we're great at how things look.
Yeah.
That's our whole thing.
That's our whole thing.
How things are is a whole nother story. But we have some fucked up shit, but it'll look good.
But we have freedom. We have the freedom to come up with fucked up shit.
Oh
too.
yeah. So
We have
it's like,
less freedom than before. In terms of, I think what we're worried about is that, and what I'm saying by less freedom, I mean, we have more freedom for sure, but they're controlled by like social media companies. Like your freedom of expression is kind of controlled now.
I was just arguing with my producer.
We have
about
more. We have more freedom because there's more options for places to do. But if you really want to be and get your word out there, you kind of have to be on YouTube. You kind of have to be on Twitter. You kind of have to be on Instagram. You kind of have to be on Facebook. All the other ones are like, Rumble or fucking Parler, or I'm sure they're good, but it's not the big ones.
Yeah, no one's there.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have more freedom, but we're also dealing with, like, Jordan Peterson got suspended from Twitter today.
Suspended?
Suspended from Twitter for some sort of a post.
I felt like he was trying to get suspended because he was saying some wild shit for like the last 6 months or something.
Well, I think, he's a sensitive fella, and he likes. I don't understand why, like, really smart people want to get into, like, entanglements online like that, like these exchanges, and why they antagonistic things. He's making points, but like one of them. Like, here's one of them that I disagreed with, and I love Jordan. Let me just preface that. He's a wonderful person. I love him as a human being. I really do. I like him a lot, and I respect him. I think he's a brilliant man. I don't always agree with him. And here, he was, like, talking about this cover of Sports Illustrated. Right. And there was a girl on the cover of Sports Illustrated that's large, right? She's a she's a bikini model, but she's a large bikini model.
Like, how large are we talking?
She's not small.
Okay.
But she's very pretty. Okay. And he says, "I'm sorry, like, not beautiful." Like, he puts that in a tweet. Look, aren't you busy?
See, that's the thing is, I feel like he's kind of fallen victim to something that he was used to be against, and it's like,
what's that?
Because you don't have to put. Because I feel like our generation forgets that, like, you can't fight every battle. You have a limited mental and emotional resources, and so you don't have to put energy in the. You don't have to put so much energy in the things that you hate or disagree with.
Right.
You should put most of your energy into things that you support.
Yes.
Right. So it's like because nothing comes out of you saying that.
That's very wise.
You know what I mean?
Call him.
Well, I don't know if I'm ready to argue with a man like that.
You are. What you just said is correct. It's not that he's incorrect that he does not find that overweight woman attractive. The problem is not that. The problem is expressing it in this way where you say, like, matter of fact, not beautiful. You could say, hey, I don't prefer women that are morbidly obese. That's not my thing. You could say that. But I like to say not beautiful, like, okay.
And I already know that about him, right? But my point is, somebody of his intellect, I feel like it's already enough people online going, this bitch is fat or she ain't
right.
Right? It's like I don't need that from you. I need the higher thoughts that only you're capable of producing.
That's a good point.
I don't need you calling bitches fat on Twitter.
I think he's trying to push back against the woke narrative, and he thinks the woke narrative that, like, fat shaming is bad and you're not supposed to look at things for what they really are, but look at things through the cultural lens of wokeness, where you kind of pretend things are different and men can get pregnant.
But that's what we were talking about earlier, right? Where it's like that's you getting, and I'm not judging him for it. It happens to the best of us. But that's you getting caught up in trying to win the battle and lose sight of the war.
Well, here's also the problem. That girl is beautiful. She's beautiful. Like, look at her face. Like, show a picture of her face. Oh, yeah, she's fucking beautiful.
She is beautiful. Yeah.
She's beautiful.
And she's not huge.
No, she's not morbidly obese.
But he's saying,
I said morbidly obese, but I wasn't really talking about her. I was really like using.
But he's saying she shouldn't be on the cover of the swimsuit issue of Sports.
Right. There's another woman. There's, like, different levels of women. He says, sorry, not beautiful, and no amount of authoritarian tolerance is going to change that. Like, she's definitely beautiful. She's just overweight. But there's another girl that's in the same magazine. You don't have to show it. That's a lot bigger. And then there's other ones online that are bigger. It's like there's this thing to have, like, overweight models. And some people get angry at it. And that out of all the things that people push back against, that's the one.
That's weird to me.
I like it when a comic does. It's funny.
If you got something funny to say.
It's a funny premise. Like Christina P., she's got a fucking funny bit about it. But there's also, like, who cares?
Yeah. Also, there's mad dudes that love chicks that size.
For sure.
Yeah. But
for sure. Skinny guys look like they do heroin.
But it's also like, it's like, again, you're one of the world's premier intellectuals, and it's like, this ain't. I don't need you. I don't need that from you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah. It's like if I got a chance to talk to Neil deGrasse Tyson, like, I'm not gonna be like, hey, do you think this girl is fat? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly.
So that's weird. It's weird to me.
You don't want to ask him about that. You want to ask him about the cosmos, right? You want
Right,
to ask him about what he
right.
knows about and that he's passionate about. It's it's him pushing back against the woke narrative, and I think you're right. And I think part of the problem is guys like him, they read Twitter. And they read YouTube comments, and I don't think that shit's healthy for you. And I think
he didn't
when
used to
you
be
do
so
that-
emotional.
Right. Well, I think also that was part of him getting off the benzodiazepine. That was a real problem. Like he was hooked on that stuff, and he had to go through a serious detox, and it really fucked him up. And he talks very openly about it. It was very like physically difficult for him to get off of that. So maybe that made him more emotional, or maybe it's just like the weight of stardom and criticism at
He hasn't been only eating meat for a long time, right? Like maybe somebody slipped him a crouton. And he's like, he just went the fuck off.
Slipped him a crouton.
Yeah.
Dude, that's all it takes. Well, he was talking once on the podcast about he got a hold of, what is it, like apple cider vinegar or something like that? He drank it and he was sick for a month or something.
God.
It's something weird like that. He's just, he's a fascinating guy, and he's a super smart guy. And I think a lot of super smart, fascinating people, they could be right and they can be wrong. They can go down uncomfortable, bad road, like maybe unnecessary roads, and then they can go down righteous roads. And it's just like this kind of the same energy that brings them into both places, just like riffing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you riff on an idea and it just doesn't work.
But that's the, you know, it's like that's one of the reasons I always was, you know, what I respected about him is the same thing I respected about Sam Harris and Neil deGrasse Tyson and Michio Kaku and all these people. It's like the people that are truly intelligent in that way.
Yes.
There's a calmness about them because there is a certainty in their knowledge.
Yes.
That brings about this calmness. Like you ever watch Sam Harris? Like Sam Harris would go to fucking, because I disagree with a lot of shit he says, but he'll go to a fucking synagogue and debate the rabbi.
Yeah.
In front of the flock. Not, you know, no Sam Harris fans there.
Right.
You know, and it's like, and never raise his voice, never sound angry, never have a condescending tone or
No,
nothing.
he's the best at that. He's the very best at that.
And Jordan Peterson used to be like, you know.
Yeah.
He would keep his cool because he was 100% certain in what he was saying.
Sam, I don't think he even uses Twitter anymore, in the sense that I think he has it like deleted from his phone, and I think he only checks it like every now and then and puts stuff up there. I think that is a definite thing that people do where they get involved in conflict and criticisms of them, and they respond to the criticisms and they get angry, and there's articles written about him. Like Jordan will like tweet an article that's bad about him and then like respond to the writer of the article. But it's also like he became famous as a professor when he was in his late 40s. That's when he became famous. It's not like something he sought out, right? So it's a weird little sort of situation he finds himself in.
See, I'm not nearly as famous as any of them, but my rule is the first 10 hours. After I post something for the first 10 hours, I like, share, I might reply positively, and then I ignore it.
That's smart.
You know, it's like if you write me something, it's like I try to read everything people write to me, but I don't have time to go back and forth with people over shit.
It's not a good tool for mentally ill people. And there's a lot of people in our profession that are mentally ill, and they fixate on the comments and they fixate on debates. And like I see people in the comments like going back and forth with their fans and arguing with them about stuff. I'm like, yo, like this is not a good thing for you. This is not healthy for you. It's not healthy for your psychology. You should be out there just thinking about life and living life and do your best. But you don't want to be detached from people, but you also don't want to do that because you're always in conflict. You don't want to always be in conflict. You want to be in conflict as least often as possible unless it's really important. That's not really important.
No.
That's not a thing I understand that he's pushing back against this idea that models can be overweight. But like let the fucking market decide. With that, like what are they selling? It's a fucking magazine, okay? If nobody likes that because they're doing that, then people buy less magazines and then they change course. These motherfuckers lick their finger like, which way's the wind blowing? It's going woke. We're going woke too. They'll put fucking rainbows over Big Macs and tell you this is a pride Mac.
Well, woke has been like perverted now because it was cool when the term first came out.
Yes,
right?
it was like you're awake.
Yeah.
So
you're not asleep. Now,
exactly.
But now it's because it's like Woodstock.
Right.
It's like when it first came out, it was organic, it was a thing, and now it's commercialized and
Right.
corporatized, and
Yeah.
now brands are woke.
Right.
It's like maybe Ben and Jerry does give a fuck about social justice or whatever, but
I think they do.
yeah,
I think those guys are old school hippies.
yeah, but like or maybe Wendy's or whoever, but probably not. Most of these brands don't.
A lot of them are doing it because they feel like they're compelled to do that by the market too. They feel like people will complain if they don't take a stance on social justice, if they don't do a thing. And it's basically what that dude was talking about.
Right.
Exactly what that Russian cat was talking about. That is exactly what's going on.
Where people feel
you're compelling speech.
It's not even it's not even a real political stance. It's,
Right.
It's you trying to fit in.
It's compliance.
Compliance. Okay.
It's compliance with the ideology. And if you don't comply, they'll attack you. And they try to take you out, or they'll try to dismiss you, or they'll try to get people to boycott your company, or they'll come after you in some sort of way that hurts your bottom line, trying to get you to force compliance. It's trying to get you to be more woke. Like these people that complain about certain corporations not taking stands on social justice, people that like sell things. Like why if all your business is selling things, why do you have to take a stance on social justice issues? Is that really important? Or is it important to the individuals?
Well, for me, it doesn't matter because the stance you're taking is just something you're saying.
Well, here's the bottom line of all of it. Most of it's done on objects that are made by slaves.
Right.
That's the reality of phones.
It's like
you and I are debating like iPhone versus Android. Find the fucking dude who's pulling the minerals out of the ground to make those things with a stick in the Congo, and you go, whoa, what are we serving?
Because that's what they're not saying when they're like, there's a chip shortage.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, wait a minute, where was the point with the shortage? Oh, because most of our slaves died from COVID.
Is that what it was?
Well, I don't think it's that all of them died, but it definitely they were the last ones to get treatment for sure.
It's a supply chain thing that affected everything during COVID. I think it was a lot of it is just, you remember all those shipping containers were all fucked? There's like hundreds of thousands of them out at sea, couldn't come in. There would no one to take the cargo off.
And I remember there was a boat clogging a canal or something. It's like a big ass ship that like turned sideways.
Got stuck?
I might be. I think it's
Oh yeah, it got stuck in like the
Suez. No, not the Suez.
How'd they get that fucking thing out?
It took a long time to turn it around.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, just imagine how many problems they have when all the workers stop working for months and months and months, if not a year. And that's what a lot of what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's guaranteed to fuck something up. The system was like pretty smooth before that, but then we realized like, hey, we need to get our chips from other countries. Why don't we have our fucking chips here? Because they couldn't make cars for a while. There was a car shortage in America.
Still is. I still don't have a car.
Really?
For this very reason. Yeah, because the dealers are charging, $5,000 to $7,000 over the sticker price.
Wow.
And in my whole life, I've never seen anybody pay the sticker price for a car.
Used cars.
Yeah, used cars were expensive.
Used cars are very expensive, especially like Toyotas and Lexuses, shit that never breaks.
Yeah, they're saying there's a shortage, but
there is a shortage.
Yeah, but they price gouging,
Yeah, but there's still a shortage.
Oh,
They're definitely price gouging, but there's also still a shortage. But they also have overhead. Like if they're not selling cars because they don't have cars to sell, and they have a fucking high lease rate.
Right.
There's a lot of shit going on.
I looked into it now. So Tesla gets around that because Tesla, because it's fully electric, you can buy straight from the manufacturer. There has to be a dealership in the middle.
Yeah.
Every other kind of car, you have to buy. It got so bad that the CEO of Ford threatened dealers if they kept price gouging that they wouldn't get the new inventory.
Yeah. It's creepy, but if you're a dealer and that's the only way you're making a living, all of a sudden you're not selling any cars because you don't have any cars to sell. I get that they'd be like, hey, there's a fucking demand going on here. Let's jack this shit up. Because they're allowed to jack up certain cars. Like if you get a certain car, like that's a hard to get car, like a Porsche, for example.
Okay.
They're always over the dealer rate. Always.
Okay.
Always. Like if you go to a lot and you try to buy a GT3 RS, a limited edition car, it's not going to cost what it costs if you ordered it from the factory. It's going to cost more.
Right.
Yeah, especially like that's one of the things that people do with like luxury cars. They flip them and they'll buy a Ferrari and not even drive it and then flip it and then bring it to, and then they'll do it on consignment. They'll sell it at a Ferrari dealership because it's to order a Ferrari. Like to go and order one from the factory, you have to have bought one before. You have to have a relationship with them. It's like
You can't just buy one.
No, it's not that easy. So people buy them and then they flip them, and you can get like more. They're worth more money than you bought them for.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then they're worth just as much money like a year from now, 2 years from now.
Wait a minute. If to buy one, you have to have bought one before. How you buy the first one?
You have to buy one that's flipped.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
To order one from Ferrari, you have to have like a relationship with Ferrari.
Imagine being that ballsy about your brand.
That's ballsy.
Where you're like, "Look, we only sell exclusively.
Yeah.
We don't. Yeah, you can't just buy one.
You can't just buy a Ferrari. They make these motherfuckers by hand. But when you get in one, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You feel that leather.
I'm
and
scared.
You feel it
Remember the last time I was here, we were at the shooting range talking about fast cars, and I was like, I'm scared to get in one. Because it was easy before when I couldn't afford one.
Right.
But I was like, I'm gonna fucking die. I can't have a car like that.
Well, if you have a Tesla, those are fast as fuck.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Fast as fuck. But easy to drive. Easy to drive normal. So like you don't have to drive them that fast. It doesn't compel you to drive fast. But what it does do is it drives fast effortlessly with no sound.
They just gave up on the auto driving thing, right?
No, they just released a new update.
I thought Elon just said like autonomous driving is like too complicated.
Really?
On Twitter?
Wasn't there like some auto drive upgrade that just got released?
No. Today I
don't use it.
The first headline I saw today was like they fired 200 people from that division.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said it was too. I think on Twitter he said it. He said it was too. It's more complicated than he anticipated.
Tesla revives enhanced autopilot for $6,000.
Oh,
what did he
revives?
Yeah, what did he say that?
No, I'm talking about fully autonomous driving. So from
the beginning to
all
the
the
end.
assisted features,
Yeah.
that's fine. But the car driving itself completely without your input, that's a wrap.
He hasn't tweeted for a few days.
No.
Weirdly, yeah, he hasn't tweeted since June 21st.
Maybe that was that's quite a while.
Or it might have just been bullshit. It might have just been
a fake Elon Musk account.
There's a lot of those.
No, I didn't see him. I didn't see him
okay,
tweet it.
I
I read an article that quoted a tweet from him.
Oh. Yeah. Well, it's to just be able to press a button and have it stop at every red light and recognize every car and every person trying to cross the road and all that stuff and not hit anybody. Man, I don't know. That's going to take a while.
I think that because I think they're going about it. I think the better way to do it would have to be with the roads also interacting with the cars.
Right.
He's actually not incorrect in what he was saying. Here's what another article rewording this headline.
Tesla relaunches $6,000 enhanced autopilot, gutting full self-driving package in the process. Oh.
So enhanced autopilot is not the same as full self-driving.
So they gutted full self-driving.
Let me see what it says here, too.
Interesting. Interesting.
Reversed the move by fully bringing back enhanced autopilot as an option on new purchases. Rather than being able to do
enhanced autopilot says navigate on autopilot, auto lane change, auto park, summon, and smart summon. So I don't think that stops at red lights and does all that other shit.
No.
That's one of the things they were trying to get it to do.
Yeah.
Oh, full self-driving capability. Is that still available?
That's the thing. I'm a little confused. Maybe they stopped this enhanced autopilot thing for a while and you could only do that. Now they brought it back because this isn't technically fully available yet.
So see what it says. It says full self-driving capability, all functionality of basic autopilot and enhanced autopilot, traffic light and stop sign control.
Oh, that's only $60,000?
Auto steer on city streets. Only $60,000 for the car?
For that one. For that Model 3 that they're showing in the
$59.
screenshot.
That's a dope little car. You know, that's a good size too. Those Model 3s, they're agile. They're little fast little fuckers.
Yeah, I might get one.
Dude, they're so fast. Callan has one. Ask him about it.
Callan?
Yeah, those things
I don't know him.
You don't know him?
No.
Really?
I've never met Brian Callan.
That's crazy.
No.
Wow. Well, I'll fix that. But they figured that out with those cars where they have the big one that is like the 4-door, the S series. They have the 3 series, which is a little more accessible but more agile too. And then they have the X, and then they have a couple coming out. And they have this fucking truck that is the wildest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
It
they
is
just
amazing.
finalized the design on the truck.
Dude, it's amazing.
What's the other thing?
They have the little Tesla Roadster. The Roadster is not A lot of people bought those and never. You like pay for it, and you got to wait for years.
According to this article, this is probably why. It says they kept missing deadlines to achieve full self-driving, so they took some of those features and put them back on a different package.
Aha. Interesting.
Yeah, but I think Elon has basically said like it's too hard. It's too hard of a problem for where we're at the moment.
Makes sense. It's a hard problem. I mean, you think about like people changing lanes. Like what does the thing do? If there's a car coming and then you turn to the right to avoid the car and there's a person.
See, what do you do? You know what I think is going to end up happening, Joe?
What?
Is I think, like I said, I think it's going to start with the highways. We're going to install some kind of AI package in the highways So I think this is the best way it's going to implement in society, where when you pull onto the highway, the road connects with your car and takes over until you get to your exit.
That's probably the right way.
And that's going to get people used to, because it's going to definitely get political.
Well, what if you don't pay for your account and won't let you on the road? You can't get to work. Like, what if it gets to that? What if it gets to that's a service that you have to pay for, like the electrical bill that you get? Maybe you get a bill for every mile you travel.
Or maybe you just can't. Maybe you can't get on that. You can't get on that road without it. You have to
there'll be
drive.
something like that.
Yeah.
There'll be something like that where you have to pay for access to the road, or you have to like have a subscription or a clean record or a clean social credit score to be able to get on the road.
Yeah, something like that.
It's not going to be more freedom. It's not.
No.
It's not going to be more freedom.
No.
As time goes on, they're going to get closer and closer and closer to a solid grip on us.
Well, people are so short-sighted that they're willing to give up. So this is another thing I think is wrong politically, is we're so obsessed with dunking on the other side. Mm-hmm. You know, and people are so willing to give up a freedom in the moment if it hurts the opposition.
Yeah.
And they don't realize like somebody else is going to have that power someday.
Yeah, exactly. That was the thing about the Patriot Act. When Obama was in office, he was like, indefinite detention, we would never use it. Yeah, but you're putting it in there. You're never going to use it. But look who's after you, Trump. Maybe he would use it. Maybe we decide we got to put him away forever. Who cares? Like, and what if it's worse than Trump? What if it's next level Trump? What if we keep going on to like more ruthless people that control the power?
Yeah.
You can't have that kind of a thing in place and just assume you have a benevolent dictator who's never going to utilize it, because that's what they did by passing it. You gave people that are in charge of other people power that they're not supposed to have. The whole checks and balances thing's out of whack now.
It's kind of terrifying.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, lucky for us, like we're not going to be around when everything really, really goes to shit.
I think we will.
It'll be like, really? You think it's going to be that soon?
I think it's going to happen quicker than you think. I think things got so weird between 2019 and 2022.
Well, you will. I'm going to be eating cheeseburgers until it's over.
I'm just saying, you're not going to die in 5 years unless something awful happens. But within 5 years, things are going to get very weird. Very weird. Things got very weird in 3.
Yeah, you're right about that.
5 years from now, you're talking about almost a decade from COVID. Things are going to be strange as fuck.
Remember that podcast that they did at the store on election night when Trump won?
Yeah.
Remember how fucking weird that felt? Like the energy in the air. It's like
that was my podcast. We did The End of the World.
Okay, yeah, we didn't
it was
know.
Me and Bill Burr and Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, and I remember somebody brought a kid.
Jim Jeffries.
Oh, right.
Brought his kid. We go, hey, that's not legal. We're smoking pot. Get out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that was the beginning of like, we thought that was the peak weirdness.
Yeah. We were like, what in the fuck? The guy from The Apprentice is the president. It was so funny. At the time, you could mock it and everybody would laugh and everyone was so confused. But then it became like this. Then you saw the separation. People that were okay with it. People that hated it, people that were happy that he's president, people that hated everything about him and anyone who supported him. And then it got more and more polarized as time went on. And then he never changed. We thought that when he was going to get to be the president, he was going to stop insulting people. And he's going to try to be presidential.
No. And he's running again.
Of course he is. He can run again. He's allowed to run again. It's nuts.
I think he's going to split the party.
He might. But I mean, who the fuck is...
Will it even matter?
On the Democratic side, the thing is like, what are you voting for? Are you voting for the person? Or are you voting for the policies? And then this abortion's right things. This has changed a lot of people's ideas about becoming Republican.
Well, this is something I never thought would happen.
Whispers of Hillary Clinton 2024 have started. Well, this is on CNN.
That's not a good idea.
What's this?
Two Fox News ones are saying they said she shouldn't run. CNN saying there's whispers of her running.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't trying to hear that. See, CNN, you stop reporting whispers, motherfucker. That's real close to a rumor. Right?
It is a rumor.
Yeah,
It is
a
whispers.
real news channel shouldn't be talking about whispers. Give me some fucking concrete information.
Well, they're not a real news channel.
Of course not. That's the other thing.
Propaganda arm of the Democratic Party.
That's the other thing about the Trump election, right? Is people forget that all the polls and all that were like, no way he's gonna fucking Hillary's blowing him out everywhere, and it was like, and this shit turned out to be completely opposite.
Yep.
And so it like that guy was talking about, it's eroded our trust. We don't even know what's true or whose agenda is what. It's.
I think there was also the secret Trump vote.
What was that?
The secret Trump vote is people that didn't want to admit they were going to vote for Trump.
Oh, yeah.
There's people that did not like the way things were going, did not trust Hillary, and they'd never vote for a Republican at any other time. They're like, you know what, fuck her. And they put it in there. She was not a loved person when she was running for president.
No.
You know, and all the craziness that they did during the elections and all the wild shit where Trump had the women that accused Bill Clinton of sexual assault, and he had them on stage with him, like over to the right, sitting down. Like there was so much crazy shit during those debates and during like all of that. It was just like it got so hot. And because he's so volatile and argumentative and he's like so good at like fucking with people and talking shit, it became like this. Rah!
It became entertaining.
The people on the other side lost their fucking minds.
And what really killed him, like I said, Republicans were like, because remember, at first Republicans was against Trump, but then when they started looking at the numbers, they're like, oh, this motherfucker can win.
Yeah.
And they all fucking got behind it.
They all got behind him, even the ones that he shit on and called them serial killers.
Well, he's a joke. The guy, he does that. That's just what he does. But he's going to lead this country. Not on our side. On our side, we're like, hey, man, if you get too close to a titty, it's a wrap.
Yeah, that's it forever.
We have this weird purity test where it's like, if you don't fucking...
Didn't always used to be like that, though.
I know. It used to be entertaining. It used to be a fight you couldn't really predict.
Yeah.
Now we know. We know who's going to win.
But it's also, I think the problem of having a guy like Trump is you have a popularity contest and you have an actual popular guy who knows how to be popular, and he just dominates this popularity contest. So it's like, unless you have someone with the same kind of charisma, like you got to rig the game.
Yeah, yeah. And they, you know, the enthusiasm behind them, you know, they did rig the game. They rigged the game against Bernie Sanders.
Yeah,
right.
They definitely did that. Who could have won? He could have won.
Maybe he could have won.
Maybe.
But the thing is, that's where the energy was. There was no energy behind Hillary Clinton.
Right. And there's other ones they're floating around that are at the top, the Elizabeth Warrens and the Pete Buttigieg's.
I think there should be an age limit on running for president.
Well, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
I mean, is 70 reasonable?
What about Congress people? And Nancy Pelosi's like 81.
All that. I think 70 is a reasonable cutoff age where you shouldn't be able to be running the world.
Just like you should be a police officer, you should have to be able to do like certain physical tasks. You should be able to go through like a physical fitness test. You should have to do that as a president too. They should ask you questions. Imagine if you had to take like an SAT test. Imagine what Biden's SAT test would look like.
And they should occasionally scare you. If you shit your pants, you're out of office. If you got to wear diapers and shit, you can't be president.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they made presidents take examinations to find out what their intelligence level is before they gave them certain tasks?
That would be incredible.
Because imagine, like you say, you are the president, but how much do you actually know about the economy? How much do you actually know about foreign policy? How much do you actually know about the environment and the impact of petrochemical products and natural gas and all these different things? Okay, so here's some questions. And then just lay out all these questions for them, and whatever, depending upon how good they are at each individual answer, they get a certain amount of say in the policy that's attached to that particular subject.
And you know what I like too? I think if the vote's close enough, they should have to throw hands. They should settle it with, like, if it's within 20%, they should have to fight.
They should have to play chess.
Yeah, like all manner of other competitions other than a fucking debate where they have an earpiece in where people are telling them what to say.
Do you think they have earpieces in?
Yeah.
Yeah?
In fact, some of them have been caught. I remember Mitt Romney was caught where the echo from his earpiece was coming through his microphone.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
This was during the Republican primary debates.
Mitt Romney?
Yeah, I think I'm almost positive it was Mitt Romney.
That should be illegal.
Yeah, he got caught with the earpiece in doing it, and it was one of those group debates. You know, I'm sure it'll pop up.
He's like a fucking televangelist.
Yeah, I mean, and they were telling him what to say,
Oh my God, that's so hilarious.
and so maybe it wasn't just him, but I'm sure they all do.
Who's on the other end that's so good? And why doesn't that person run for president?
Because they're smarter than that. You know, it's like those political strategists and shit behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That's job security. Yeah, that's way better than being a candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's true. They don't get forced out. They stay in office forever.
and it's never their fault.
Right. And then they move on to the next campaign.
Yep.
They become a fixer.
Because it's been a long time since I was in really follow politics strictly, but I know James Carville was one of those people.
Oh yeah.
Where he
From
was
the
like,
Clintons.
yeah, he was a beast at that.
Interesting guy.
Yeah.
Like he would be on those talk shows talking. He had that kind of Southern accent.
And his accent made it sound like he was lying.
Yeah.
But
Well, he's a politician. The problem with politicians is we know there's going to be a certain amount of lying, and they assume they're going to have to lie about a certain amount of things. They never. It's like, you know, that lady who's the new White House press secretary, and when they talk to her about the economy, she's like, the economy's as strong as it's ever been. They're like,
right.
the fuck are you talking about? And the other day, she's talking to Don Lemon, and Don Lemon says, do you have any concerns about Biden being fit enough to run in 24? She's like, oh, this is ridiculous. Are we really bringing this up? I can't even keep up with him. You see all the things he does. Hey, have you seen it? Bro, you need to see it because it's so ridiculous.
I'm laughing at your impression of her.
It's dead on.
I can't even keep up with him.
No. I'm telling you, it's dead on. Like, that's how
Okay.
she said it. That's
Let's
how
see
she
it.
said it. It's so dumb because everybody's watching this guy. American is just some American one word. Fucking
Yeah.
he's
They don't
falling
even,
apart.
They don't even care anymore. They'll lie to your face now.
Yes. Well, this is like some of the most blatant lying to your face because you're lying and Don Lemon's calling bullshit. When Don Lemon's calling bullshit, that's real bullshit. Watch this.
Oh wow! The
I
new
don't know
White
if
House.
There's a video of that.
No, there's a video. I watched it.
I'm not where I clicked.
Is this the
on
press
that.
secretary?
Yeah, just go to videos.
It's not sure.
Yeah, that's the new one.
I don't know if that's the right one. This is a week
Right.
ago. That was from June 15th. Or something.
No. Right, White House Press Secretary Don Lemon. Put that in there.
Yeah, dude. Every White House press secretary is a fucking snake.
Oh, they have to be. That's the job. The job is you have to spin things. Right there. No, it was like the one there downstairs.
Yeah.
Don, right there, the bottom line.
Like,
The
you
bottom
notice-
one.
I
You
know,
notice
but
how-
that's 6 minutes long. I don't know where the part's going to be.
You notice how fast they burn out too? They never last a whole president term.
Never. This is only. Let me hear what you.
I don't.
Challenges in the run-up to this
thing was
year's
only 50
midterm
seconds.
elections, and it is raising questions about how the whispers are growing louder inside the Democratic
Here it
Party,
is.
facing doubt that in the Democratic Party about his plans to run a second term. I want you to listen. This is what Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez told CNN when asked if she would support Biden in 2024. Here it is.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but I think if the president has a vision, then that's something certainly we're all willing to entertain and examine when the time comes.
That's not a yes.
I believe that the president has been doing a very good job so far, and should he run again, I think that I think it's we'll take a look at it.
Okay,
What?
so as I understand, you assured, or you reiterated that the president does plan to run in 2024, right?
So first of all, the Congresswoman did say the president is doing a good job, so that's good, right? So I just want to really highlight that because many people agree with that. Look,
But he is going to run in
there's
2024.
Well, let me just say there's there's something called the Hatch Act that I have to be very mindful of. What I can say is the president has repeatedly said that he plans to run in 2024, and I'm going to have to leave it there.
Okay, but are you concerned?
Here it is.
Is the administration worried that there are Democrats who are not openly endorsing the president come 2024, even though you can't say for sure?
I really can't get into that. All I can say is what the president intends to do, what the president plans to do. And look, at the end of the day, Don, our focus is to deliver for the American people. That's the work that we've been doing with the economy.
She's got
That's
politician
the work
hands.
that we've been doing with
See the
COVID. When he
movements?
walked in, again, let's not forget, when he walked in as looking at COVID, there was no There was no comprehensive plan to get people vaccinated. Now more than 200 million people are getting vaccinated. The one thing I do want to say is as we are working on plans to lower inflation, deal with gas prices, you have the other side. You have Republicans, and what they're doing is they're putting out a plan. Senator Rick Scott put out a plan on how he wants to raise taxes on people making less than $100,000, and also sunset Medicare and Social Security, things that are so important
I understand.
to communities across the country.
You're right. Those are important policy issues, and those should be discussed, and they're discussed in every presidential election, and they're discussed all the time. But the concern is the president during interviews where he doesn't seem to answer questions directly or at times succinctly. There is his approval ratings. According to the latest Gallup poll, 41% of Americans approve of Biden's job as president. So how does he and you, because you are the spokesperson of the White House, plan to assure voters that he is still the best candidate to beat Trump? Is he at his best right now?
Well, I think the thing that Americans love about President Biden is he's a straight shooter. He is a straight shooter, and he says it as the way he sees it, and he calls it out. And that is the thing that makes him genuine and authentic and real, and people really, really connect with this president. I see it myself when we're going to Philly, Pennsylvania. I'll see it then. We just came back from New Mexico. We were in LA, California.
She studied
I
Obama's
travel with
hand
them
movements
all across the country, and I see how people feel about this president and how much they appreciate what he has done. And I think that matters. As far as the polls, our focus, again, is delivering for the American people. We're making inflation our number one economic policy. There's other issues that the president has to deal with, and that is what he's going to focus on, and that's how he's going to continue.
There's no concern within the administration about the president's polling?
That's not what we're talking about here. We're focused. We are genuinely focused on how we can get the work done on behalf of the American people.
Does the president have the stamina, physically and mentally, do you think, to continue on even after 2024?
Don, you're asking me this question. Oh my gosh, he's the president of the United States. I can't even keep up with it. We just got back from New Mexico. We just got back from California. That is not a question that we should be even asking. Just look at the work that he does. Look how he's delivering for the American public. Look,
gaslighting, whatever you do, nobody strike a fucking match.
She can't keep up with him.
That's not what we care about.
Strike a match. That is wild. That's wild talk.
It's number one bullshit.
Are we really asking this? Are we really? Come on, Don. Oh my God, Don. Oh my gosh. There's when politicians do this thing where they have a way of talking. There's a very specific, it's like someone doing karate.
It's pleading. It's a Joe, are we really going to talk about, it's like she did everything but answer his question.
Yeah.
Listen, we're here. He was like, what are these polls? And she was like, well, listen, I'm going all around this nation. What I'm seeing with my own eyes, I'm seeing the people.
People are really connecting with him.
Right. And 42% of the people actually approve of what he's doing. I don't know. I think it's all bull. I don't trust the polls. I don't trust the questions. I don't trust her.
My point is, of course you don't trust her. She's clearly not just speaking about what she thinks. She's clearly being a politician. Right? She's propagandizing. She's putting things in the best light possible.
Right.
That's not really what she really thinks. Of course she has some concerns.
Right. Of course
Everybody.
Of course you're keeping up with a 73-year-old man that can barely stay awake.
He's 80, bro.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Isn't he? 79? 78?
Yeah.
I think
he shouldn't. Look.
Maybe 79.
Look, he shouldn't be running the country. I'm sorry. I don't know. Is that ageism?
No, because if he was 79 and very lucid, and he was very good at speaking, and he made really important points, and he felt sincere, you'd have trust in him, and you'd want him to run the country. Like, that lady's gaslighting us.
But see, I ain't even. That's not even where I'm coming from.
Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from, even if you 79 and you're the most lucid, and it's like you're making decisions that you are definitely not going to be around to have to live with.
Right, but if you are like a movie, let's go to a movie about some like wise society of brilliant people, and you have the wisest of the wise who rules amongst them and does so with kindness and compassion and generosity. And the way they do it is like with pure democracy, and they only want the will of the people, and they want the people to be happy and educated. And he just happened to be 78. You'd be like, that's our leader.
Yeah, true.
This is not what he is nonsense. What he is it's like a placeholder for a leader, and then all the shit is going on behind the scenes, and he starts we're gonna get rid of e-cigarettes.
See, I told you I'm on some Judge Dredd shit. I think you should have to die right after. I think you become president, you automatically get 8 years, and right after they just hand you a rifle and send you out into the fucking desert.
Or they chop your head off on pay-per-view.
Yeah, yeah,
and they use that
something
money
like that
to fix the streets.
Yeah, like because that way. Because a lot of these people, they go there because it's going to enrich them,
right?
You know, and there's no penalty or nothing. Like they just want power.
Well, they get these weird sort of unwritten deals where they give speeches after they get out of office for hundreds of thousands of dollars to companies that they helped enrich during their period in office, and then there's like this revolving door thing that goes on. Yeah. You ever see An Inside Job?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And it's all about the financial crisis and the guy who is the narrator.
Oh, no. I saw Inside Man. I thought you were okay.
Oh, Inside Job is a job about the financial crisis. And there's a guy who really understands the financial system, is asking all the questions of these professors and asking of these economic advisors, and how did this take place and what happened. And some of them get unhinged and get mad at him because he actually knows what he's talking about. But what he's essentially pointing out is that people start off as professors in these universities, and they endorse certain economic policies that will then lead to these problems. Then once they get out of working as a professor, they go and get massive jobs with these companies that they helped enrich by their decisions, by their economic advice. So these people, there's like a financial incentive for them to endorse certain policies with lending and that kind of shit, financial shit. And so this guy explains it all. It's a wild movie because for people like me who don't know jack shit about how the economy works, I get to see that, and it's what you realize how much money these people were making and how it was all rigged and how they would like have these people funnel from university to.
What's this on? Is this on Netflix?
I think it's on everything.
Yeah, it was this documentary in 2010.
Yeah,
so it's on a lot of places.
It's right after the 2008 crisis.
Okay, yeah,
it's good. It's good.
Like Smartest Guys in the Room good?
Yeah, very similar.
Okay,
very similar. Yeah. It's one of those ones where you're just like, fuck. And you realize, like, just like politicians get corrupt, businessmen get corrupt too. And when you're in a corporation, one of the things about corporations, the bottom line is you got to make more money. You're always trying to make more money. Right. And if you can make more money by telling, like, a mathematician or a politician or someone that if you endorse this or that, this could help us over here, and then, hey, maybe you can come speak. And then you come speak and you're making $300,000 for a half hour of nonsense. America has always been about prosperity. And you're getting paid for that, like wild sums of money for that.
Yeah. Am I above it? That's the question I got to ask.
No. Are you above it? Come on, man. If you had to do stand-up in front of the Democratic National Convention and they offered you $300,000 to do 45 minutes of stand-up, you're going to do it.
Oh, yeah, I'd do it.
Yeah, you'd do it.
Yeah.
It'd be great just for the story.
There are very few groups of people I wouldn't do stand-up in front of.
What about Bohemian Grove, that shirt you're wearing?
I don't even know what this is.
You don't know what this is?
No.
Oh, my God. Bohemian Grove. This is hilarious about you wearing that shirt. That's why I asked you, where'd you get that shirt? And you were like, I spilled something on my shirt. I got that from here. So somebody must have given me this. This shirt is about a place that all the rich guys go and they dress up like druids and they do all these crazy fucking rituals. Oh. And it used to be thought of as nonsense until John Ronson filmed Alex Jones sneaking into Bohemian Grove. Alex Jones made his way in there with a hidden camera, filmed these guys with fucking druid costumes on, burning an effigy in front of a giant owl god. and talk about Moloch, the owl god, and they've been going there since like the 60s. Nixon talked about it. Nixon talked about what a horrible time he had there. What was Nixon's quote? Let's find Nixon's quote on Bohemian Grove because it's fucking hilarious. So dudes would get there and it'd be like all eyes wide shut type of shit and a lot of debauchery and fucking perversion. And these guys were all these like super duper rich guys and they would go there. Pull up Nixon's quote.
I'm all about debauchery
What's that?
and perversion.
I'll just read it, but don't say it out loud.
One example was President Nixon commenting.
I think we've said it before.
Time.
Okay.
It's Nixon's quote. He says it is the most faggy goddamn thing you could ever imagine with that San Francisco crowd. Yeah, Nixon hated it. So the Bohemian Grove was a place where it was just a legend. And then when they got video footage, these guys are actually doing this. People are like, "Oh my God!" So the video footage.
A spring began to bloom.
Is this Nixon talking about it?
Would soon become.
Oh, see, this is Nixon.
San Francisco just gone. It's clear over. But it isn't just down in the ratty part of town. But the upper class in San Francisco is that way. The Bohemian Grove that I attend, from time to time, the Easterners and the others that come there. But it is the most faggy goddamn thing you will ever imagine. The San Francisco crowd that goes in.
The San Francisco crowd that goes in there. It's just terrible, he says.
So wait a minute, why does he, he says he attends from time to time.
They all do. Look at that picture there. When you look at the people that Ronald Reagan was there, Richard Nixon, all these bigwigs and huge like heads of state and corporate leaders, they would all go there. It was like an elite of the elite, and they would do things that are weird. Like they would dress up in costumes and worship gods.
But if he hated it so much, why did he go?
They all went there.
Oh, just for political.
It was like one of those things. It's like you had to be in the club. And everybody thought it was nonsense until they got video footage of this. And they got video footage of this in like 99. So look, Henry Kissinger. Look at all these people that were there. Gerald Ford.
They took a
John
class
McCain.
photo.
They all went there. They took a class photo. Bohemian Grove Camp, Mandalay, 1977. But go see if you can find the video of the actual footage that Ronson and Alex Jones got, because it's wild shit, man. These guys, there's a megaphone, and they're talking through the megaphone like a speaker, and they're explaining how they worship in this owl god, and then they burn this effigy that's supposed to represent a body. It's like a bundle of sticks, and they light it on fire. It's wild shit.
Did that turn into Burning Man?
Ha! No, Burning Man is the opposite of that. So see if you can just like cut ahead until you see like the actual footage of them. Now, this is Alex Jones inside Bohemian. This is before they understood what he was doing. But if you go back all the way towards the end, I think there it is. There we go. So this is the actual ritual. So they all have torches and they dress up like monks. And listen to this shit. We shall meet thee.
And some of us prevail against thee, and some thou shalt destroy. But this too we know. Year after year within this happy grove, our fellowship bans thee for a space. And thy malevolence which would pursue us here has lost its power under these friendly trees.
Yo.
So shall we burn thee once again this night, and in the flames that eat thine effigy, we shall read the sign, Midsummer sets us free. Ye shall burn me once again.
Ye shall burn me once again.
Now but these flames, which hither ye have brought from regions where I reign, ye fools and priests, I spit upon your fire.
Okay, pause. And people wonder why Alex Jones is crazy.
Is that a...
Imagine seeing that and go, how come everybody doesn't know about this? The presidents all go here? The heads of state? This is all real.
Sounds like a goofy play they're doing. But
Yeah, it does, but that's what they do.
Like a sketch competition?
Yeah, I get it.
It's a sketch competition. I mean, but that is what they do.
What's the shittiest improv group?
It's just... But it's weird is that these people all become, like, you know the story of like Skull and Bones, all these elite fraternities.
Yeah.
They do wild shit, weird shit. You know, and they get you, like, you have to suck a dick, and they take pictures of you. Now they have it, and they put it in a vault. You know, that's the rumors. Yeah. The rumors are always those kind of things. Like that they have a way.
Can't be far off.
Probably not
can I get
far
another
off.
Piece of that ice?
Yeah. We got to wrap this up soon, man,
yeah.
because we got a show in an hour.
We do.
I know.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Never mind.
We'll wrap this up. But the whole point of all this is that some things that you think are fucking super impossible and bizarre are actually true. Like Epstein's Island, that was actually a real place.
Oh yeah, they just threw the book at your girl.
And they said she's on suicide watch. Boy, she looks like she's on suicide watch.
She gonna die.
Oh, those cameras, I can keep hitting them. They're gonna go on. Camera's not working. I'll fix it. Don't worry, we'll fix it.
Yeah, she not making it to Christmas.
Not a chance.
No,
not a chance. She makes it into an interview.
Oh, dude, did you hear about? Because a big theme for me this week has been the whole how people like get away with investigating themselves.
Investigating themselves?
Yeah, like you'll hear like a police department investigated themselves, or like a company investigated themselves, and it turned
internal investigation.
No wrongdoing. Turns out we followed all our protocol. So the LAPD. So there's been all these rumors about there being like gangs in the LA County Sheriff's Department.
Yes,
right.
All the way back to Rampart days.
Yeah. So they just a police officer just died during training. It was simulated mob training, like them being attacked by a mob, and his neck was broken in 3 places during training, which looks suspiciously like hazing.
Whoa. Suffers injuries in training leading to death. Wow.
Yeah, he died.
Training was beaten to simulate mob. So they beat him to death?
They beat him to death.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And
so they beat him to death. Well, how do we know the facts of this, though? What if he fell and broke his neck?
Well,
look, it says it has to be a beating. Terrible injuries all over his body. It has to be a beating. Gage has filed a governmental claim. I'm not sure. I don't know all. It says Tipping is not the first to be effectively murdered during training. The family says they hope the lawsuit will bring an end to training exercise deaths.
Yeah, well, all we know for sure is that he died and that it was during training.
Look at this. One part of his head required staples. He became a quadriplegic. He was unable to breathe on his own. His heart stopped. Holy shit. See, I don't know the details of that.
I don't. But they're investigating themselves. So they're going to tell us soon. But
he fell.
The speculation runs wild. Well, the only statement they made was that he died while grappling with another officer.
Oh.
And I was like, I know a lot of dudes that grapple regularly, and I know dudes that have gotten hurt grappling, but I don't know anybody that's broken their neck.
I do.
In 3 places.
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah, it can happen. One of the ways it happens is if you go for a guillotine, when someone shoots a double, and you capture the guillotine, and as they shoot the double, they drive into it, and it lands on the head.
Yeah.
It's happened to guys. There's a guy from Team Alpha Male got paralyzed doing that, and I think that happened with Mark Coleman, but he didn't get paralyzed, but he did temporarily. There's been guys who've done that because, like, if you think about it, right? Like if someone shoots a double, they're driving in. It's natural for someone to get you in a headlock, right? The head is right there,
right.
And if they hold on to your head and to keep it out there, and then all their weight drives down, their head hits the ground with all of your weight, all of my weight, all on my head.
Right, all on your neck.
All on your neck, and the neck just shatters. It's happened before. More than one time I've heard of it. It's dangerous.
So if that's the case, why don't they just say it was an accidental death?
Well, they said he died during training. So if they're the problem is they said he was beaten all over his body. Now, if that's true, that's a different thing. That's a different. But I'm just giving you a scenario where someone could potentially break their neck.
But
in grappling.
you know as well as I do, right? We've both been a part of manly organizations, sports, military fighting, and to me, this sounds like hazing. This sounds like a ritual that like rookies go through or something. They call it training, but it's really we're gonna beat your ass and then we're gonna give you a little stripes or whatever they get afterwards. And it probably got out of control.
It could be. Or it could be mob training where guys aren't told to pull their shots, and they simulate if a guy's going to be attacked. Like, can you get to your gun in time? Can you get to your taser? Can you get in your vehicle? And then the guys who are doing it get out of control, and they hit people full blast. Because sometimes people just hit people full blast.
Yeah.
Like there's guys that there's a lot of videos online you can watch of sparring matches that turn into fights because some guy hit someone full blast and then they just start winging at each other.
Yeah, some motherfuckers don't know how to act.
Exactly. But if you're in a situation where you're simulating a mob attack, that is possible that that's what they were doing, and somebody just crushed this dude.
Yeah, and no, I am biased because I don't. The LAPD's reputation is
the best.
It's
the best.
Stellar, right?
They're the best.
So it's like but they could be telling the truth. I'm guessing the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Probably, but you know that people do get fragged, like on purpose in the military, and they'll blame it on the enemy if you don't like a guy.
Oh yeah,
that happens.
It happens.
It happens, and I'm sure it happens in LAPD too.
And there's another thing. This could be a gang initiation.
Who knows?
Who knows what the fuck it could be?
I would lean towards training accident because I think it is very possible that their training was not. Who knows? Who knows if they implemented it correctly, if they planned it correctly? But it could also be a murder. Who the fuck knows? But what I'm saying is that it is definitely possible that it was an accident. Unless he's got wounds all over his body, like they say terrible wounds all over his body. Like what if they're using an object, they're beating him with something? I don't know what they were doing.
We need to send him to your boy. So I told you I met Bert
Soren,
and he introduced me to a motherfucker that did. He does this stuff called RPR. Have you heard of that?
PRP?
PRP.
Yes. It's called platelet-rich plasma.
No. It's RPR.
Different thing?
No. It's RPR. It's something reset. Something.
Where's that video? Was it on someone's story or something? I saw it.
It was me. It was on Bert's story of me.
Okay, well then
What is
It's I forget what the he's gonna be pissed at me. RPR, but basically it's basically like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like bro yoga. You know, like he so
like Dallas Diamond Page yoga?
Reflexive performance reset.
Okay, yeah. So I told him that like I hurt my shoulder a few years ago like throwing axes. And it's been hurting.
That's a manly way to hurt your shoulder.
It is, right? And he was like, okay, reach your put your arm out like this here, and when I push on it, try to push back, you know. And he pushed on it, and I couldn't. And then he was like, you know, this is gonna hurt. And when he figured out where the pain was, he held up my arm and he like dug under here, like deep into, like it hurt like a motherfucker. And because he's like, this tendon connects to here and connects to there, and like so he dug into my shoulder and all that shit, and then he did it again, and he like it worked, and my shit stopped hurting.
So you had like an impingement or something?
I think I had an impingement a long time ago, and it turned into scar tissue, and I was compensating for it. And you know how it is, like if you spend a long time, you know, sitting wrong, and or you're not working out, and this muscle gets weak, and it's connected to this and connected to that.
Yeah.
So it's like you can have a pain in your lower back that's really from some shit in your neck.
Right.
And so that's what he does. He like figures out where it's actually coming from, and he digs in. So basically, he equated it to like acupuncture. Where it's like there's certain I forget the
pressure
terms.
points.
There's certain pressure points. Or there's certain clumps of fascia on the top layer of your muscle,
and you can separate them.
Yeah, he breaks that shit up, and it hurts like a muff. But it worked, and I got other people to do it. They didn't believe me at first.
That's kind of one of the principles of Rolfing. The idea behind Rolfing, it's like heavy manipulation of tissue. It's really painful. It's like a kind of massage, but like they use tools sometimes, and they use elbows, and they just like dig apart your tissue. I used to go to this guy who was a Rolfer, and I went to him for a while until he told me that Bruce Lee beat 100 men in competition once. I was like, what are you talking about, man? He's like, you know, he was explaining to me, like he didn't know that I'm a martial arts guy. So I'm telling him about, or maybe he did. But anyway, I'm telling him about my injury, and he's helping me with my injury. But then he gives me some nonsense about how Bruce Lee was once in a martial arts match with 100 different individuals, and he beat them all because he had full control of his mind and his body. I go, what? What? I let you touch me? Like you're a crazy person practicing voodoo on me. But manipulating like with like heavy duty deep tissue massage and Rolfing. I mean, I don't think Rolfing's bad. I think this guy was kind of kooky. But Rolfing itself is very effective. Like sometimes you need the kind of massage that fucking hurts.
Yeah, that's what I need. That's what I'm going to get too.
You know what you should do? It's a really good thing if you have access to a chin-up bar. Really good things for your shoulders is just hang. Hanging is one of the best things. Like grab it, it's really good for your shoulders because most of the time our shoulders are just getting compacted all the time. You're pushing things and it's like pushed against this, you're sleeping on it, you need it to stretch out. And sometimes all that impingement can all be fixed just by hanging from a chin-up bar. You don't have to even do chin-ups. Just hang from it. Do as long as you can, 10 seconds, whatever, build your way up. But there's a whole bunch of videos on YouTube that are dedicated to the values of hanging from chin-up bars.
One of my favorite things you got in there is that inversion table.
That's really good too.
I weigh too much for it now, I think.
The best one is the one that hinges at the waist. It's called the Dex 3.
I never heard of that.
That's I'll show it to you. It's out there. That one's the shit. It hinges at the waist instead of hanging from your ankles. That one's the best because the other one is really good, but you're kind of holding yourself with your leg muscles. This one, it's all just your waist. So your weight, you're sitting with all of your weight essentially. It's like almost like a leg curl type setup, and it like your back goes pop pop pop.
Oh, I need that.
Good.
I need.
We got one
that
here. I'll show it to you right now.
I'm buying.
I'll show it to you.
I want.
Okay.
I
Get
it
it
in my house.
It's called a Teeter Dex 3. Dex 2. Teeter Dex 2.
Teeter been in the game for a minute.
It's the shit.
Yeah.
Teeter's that thing is the shit.
Yeah.
I recommend that to everybody. The other one's good too, but I think that one is particularly good.
Yeah, because would you agree flexibility is probably the most underrated fitness parameter?
It's very important. Range of motion.
Yeah.
I would put the two of them together. Range of motion is flexibility. Flexibility is range of motion because if you have more flexibility, you have more range of motion. But there's certain like things in certain people they're like bound up. They're bound up in their neck and their back and like if you stretched out, you would have more pliability, be more supple.
I need that. I've always had that because everybody in my family, we all got the necks like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like whether if I purposely was trying to kill myself by just eating fucking cake 24/7, my neck would still be like this. It was like we all are built like we fucking
like wrestlers.
My whole family, and so I ignored flexibility and range of motion for so long.
Yeah, you can't ignore that.
No,
for longevity and just for overall health, you should really concentrate on those things.
Yeah, I ain't trying to be one of those old people that's got a fucking tiptoe everywhere.
Oh. Or you can't bend over to tie your own shoes.
Yeah.
Or you start wearing slippers.
Or your ACL just goes in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Or just, or you just you're putting on shoes one day and you fucking lose an MCL. Fuck that.
I watched a horrible video of this fucking old dude who was, I'll send it to you, Jamie, because I saved it. This fucking old dude was walking on like a walker. He had he was like really old. And in the middle of him walking, this fucking bull comes up behind him and just jacks him for no reason. It's horrific. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
I'm going to find it, Jamie. You got it? Oh, it's so sad. Watch this shit. This dude's so old.
Karma?
Oh, nope, that's not even the one. I'll find it. I know I saved it.
Man. Yo, have you seen have you seen the one of the elephant?
Which one of the elephant?
It's the elephant. He kills this lady.
Oof.
And then he comes back to her funeral and violates her corpse.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he hold on, I'll send it to you.
I can't find this. I thought I had it.
He Trello. Yes.
God, I swore I saved that video.
I found that one for Brian.
Which one?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh, what does he do? So the elephant trampled a woman to death. Go back to that so I could read it. Trampled a woman to death at the Raipal village in Odisha on June 9. The herd attacked the village again when she was being taken for cremation the same evening. Oh.
Yeah, they came back for that.
They
bitch.
came back.
Yeah. She did something to that motherfucker.
Perhaps.
Like most people fucking with animals. I mean, sometimes it's unfortunate you don't realize you stumbled onto somebody's nest or something.
Right.
But sometimes it's because like you're fucking with the wrong animal.
Oh, Snoop had it on his page. Here, Jamie, I'll send it to you. I found it. All right, I'm Bluetoothing it to you right now. There you go. This is rough. Let's look at this. Imagine this. You live your whole life. You're in a fucking walker, and then boom. That's it. That's a wrap. Watch this.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck, indeed. I mean, you have no idea it's coming, and then all of a sudden,
is that an old woman?
That's an old woman, I think. It might be an old man. It's hard to tell.
No.
But that's the end. 100% the end.
If it was on Big B's page, she'd be okay.
What's that mean?
She's okay.
She is? Oh.
That's a joke. Everybody's okay.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
said Big Beast.
The Black Beast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking? I
Yeah.
thought you like.
That's
I
why I
thought
was
you
like,
were
I
talking
think I
about-
said it wrong. I didn't know which thing I said wrong.
I thought you were saying Mr. Beast. I didn't know what you're saying.
Because, see, I always the part that really hurt right there was the fact that, like, she might have been fine if she didn't have the walker, right?
No, she's fucked.
But that joint, it hit her right in the with the pussy bone.
She was going flying.
Yeah?
She was going flying no matter what.
Yeah, because you're already at the point where you need the walker.
Yeah, she was going flying. And she's landing on her head too. Like that's how the universe decided to take her out. Just a random
you think she's
wild
dead?
bull. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Look how old she is. Dude, she flipped up in the air and landed head first on the concrete. That's a wrap.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure.
And then the legs landed on top of the walker.
It didn't look good.
It didn't, yeah.
All right. We got a show in less than an hour, so let's wrap this
Let's
bitch
do
up.
it.
Brian Simpson, you're the fucking man.
Thank
Tell
you.
everybody about your Netflix special. It's
Hey,
available.
Netflix special. David, I also have an interview with David Letterman on Netflix called That's My Time. I also have a hit podcast, BS with Brian Simpson. I also have tour dates coming up at BrianSimpsonComedy.com. Go check it out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.